this or that. Good evening. I will now call this meeting of the April 6th meeting of the Select Board to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm now opening the meeting for public comment. Does anyone here have something they wish to say? Online? Audience? Okay. I will now close public comment and ask Steve if you would put that on the agenda so we can talk about length for next time. Do we have any documents to sign?
Yes. We have three sets of meeting minutes. March 16th, all were present except Whitney.
Make a motion to approve March 16th meeting minutes.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
March 23rd, all present.
I make a motion that we approve March 23rd meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And March 11th, this was for the Pathfinder budget presentation. All were present except Jen and John.
I was present online.
Okay.
Oh,
The Pathfinder?
okay.
With
Well,
addition.
do you want to make the motion?
Sure, I make a motion to accept the minutes as approved, as presented.
Well,
Uh,
I think we
and we
probably
need to
need to have these amended.
Yeah,
As amended.
As amended.
I'll make a note.
Thank you.
That's the 311.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. There are no additions to the agenda. And I'd like to ask if the Collins Center is ready to present the Human Services review. And what we're asking is that if you could keep it to 10 minutes and then allow 10 minutes for questions from the board. I know that's asking a lot, but we'd really appreciate that.
Kelsey, Patricia, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can. Hi.
You want me to
Great.
put up the presentation?
Kelsey is here as well, and I think she has our presentation to share.
I can't hear anything. Are people able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
She can't.
Don't you love technology?
I found that you have to click on choosing your Mac for your.
I'm sorry, but I can't hear you. I think that's better. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, and what I had said is if you could possibly keep your presentation to 10 minutes so that we can allow 10 minutes for questions. We have a poll hearing at 6:50, so we are tight for time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, one moment. Reorganize my screen here so I can see one. Okay. Sorry, I missed introductions. Are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for having us here today. My name is Kelsey Edmond. I'm with the Comeau Center for Public Management, and I am joined by my colleague Pat Boyd today. And we're going to present the Belchertown Shared Human Services study that we conducted. So briefly, our agenda for tonight, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Collins Center, the scope of the project, and the methods that we use for this report. Then we'll share 3 main recommendations, which are bolstering data needs, maintaining Belchertown's current structure, and also some information about regionalizing recreation services. So the Collins Center for Public Management is a government consulting firm. It's dedicated to improving efficiency, effectiveness, governance, accountability at all levels of government with a specific focus on state and local government. And we provide consulting services, technical assistance throughout the Commonwealth, and we've been working with Belchertown to conduct an organizational structure of Belchertown's community services providing departments, which we consider recreation, the Council on the Aging and Senior Center, and Veteran Services. So the scope of this study assesses current operations, identifies opportunities for improvement, and also explores regional collaboration possibilities. The study was guided by these 3 core questions: what the community wants from its services, how Belchertown might share services with neighboring towns, and how departments could more effectively be organized. To address these lines of inquiry, we used a variety of methods. First was an environmental scan of department programming, services data, annual reports, existing plans, existing studies, job descriptions, and budget data. And during that phase, we discovered how vital the community pool is to community services in Belchertown. So we also conducted a financial analysis of swimming pool operations as well. Concurrently with that, we ran a community survey, which garnered 321 responses. The survey asked questions about community members' use of Belchertown services, barriers to communication and participation, and opinions on sharing services with other municipalities. Lastly, we conducted 13 interviews with 12 relevant stakeholders, and those stakeholders were a combination of Belchertown staff, leadership from neighboring municipalities, leadership from 2 different innovative human services departments, so that we could learn more about their organizational structure. There are a handful of recommendations in the final deliverable, but we would like to highlight 3 main ones tonight and then end with some next steps. So the first recommendation is to bolster the data collection and analysis that Belchertown manages. Overall, the project found that Belchertown's community service departments deliver a significant number of programs and services, especially given their staffing model. Thus, staff time is understandably highly focused on service delivery rather than tracking performance data or communicating outcomes. But as a result of that, there appears to be a disconnect between the actual level of service that's being provided and how that performance is perceived by leadership in the community. So to address this, we recommend modifying the existing grants position into a combined grants and data analytics role. So this position could support departments with data collection, performance metrics, and reporting, and also strengthen grant applications at the same time, as well as annual reporting and budget planning. So a more hybrid role like this would help departments more effectively communicate the value of their work and then demonstrate that impact.
Our second recommendation is focused on maintaining the current human services organizational structure. In Belchertown, the organization reporting structure, like many towns, is very flat. This means that about 16 department heads report directly to the town manager, who oversees all these departments. We were asked to focus on recreation, veteran services, and the Council on Aging departments in particular, and examine the possibility of making organizational changes, including combining any duplicate positions or creating a management position to coordinate these 3 departments. This structural change was suggested in order to increase efficiency, improve services, and decrease siloing of departments. But after looking at these 3 departments, we recommend that the current structure be maintained for now for the following reasons. First of all, the current structure has supported successful programming. We found strong support for the success of the current programming in both the survey and in our review of existing programs. Recreational programming is extensive. The pool is highly valued. While some survey respondents found the senior center to be somewhat outdated, the services provided, including enrichment, social spaces, and outreach, were highly commended. And the Veteran Services Department has provided a full range of services with positive survey results. While the report makes some recommendations for some additional programming, the current organizational structure has not impeded its ability to provide successful services. Secondly, the project team found that it might not be financially feasible to add additional management positions in the community services area at this time. When we started this project, the town had just passed a large override, and there didn't seem to be much room in the budget to add a middle management position, although that might be an option in the future. Further, because we didn't find any duplication of current staff positions, we're not recommending any sharing of staff, so that leaves no additional financial room for a middle management position. Next, we did note that there are some alternatives to adding, instead of adding a human services managers, that could help improve communications and collaboration among the departments. There is cross-departmental collaboration, but it's on an informal basis, relying on personal relationships rather than formalized structures. So this can cause some siloing of departments. Some ways to decrease this risk would be, for example, scheduling regular working group meetings to encourage collaborations and improve communications that are already occurring informally, but formalizing this arrangement. Also, there could be an implementation of more sharing of departmental information across town-wide channels. And while not directly related to human services, we wanted to note that the report did recommend the town implement DLS's prior recommendation to create a finance director. This would condense one part of the organizational structure and reduce the town manager's number of direct reports and provide some necessary support for the town's finance functions. Also, as Kelsey mentioned, the report recommended modifying the grants position to include grants and data analytics, and this will help support data collection and performance metrics that will help build more efficiencies and effective programming in human services and in the other departments. In the report, we have included a few models that the town can consider in the future, such as the South Hadley model and the Plymouth model, if as the town grows its offerings, it wants to look at a change in the structural organization. The next recommendation is to just inform you that opportunities might be ripe for some shared services, especially in recreation. Belchertown's COA, Recreation and Veteran Services departments are already serving residents of surrounding communities. So there's a good history of working together in the region that could result in some cooperation. We found no real current interest in sharing services for the Council on Aging among the towns we looked at. The surrounding municipalities really appreciate having their own services and enjoy dropping into neighboring events. So there was no real interest in collaboration there. And furthermore, there's no immediate need for regionalization in the veteran services area, but some of the surrounding communities may be open to it in the upcoming years as people retire and they have staffing changes. So that's something to keep an eye on. Recreation really has the most potential for regionalization. At the time of our study, Palmer was looking for a recreation director for a number of months. Ware has a parks manager, but does not offer recreational services. Granby doesn't have a recreation department, and the people from Granby are already participating in Belchertown's activities. But Belchertown really appears to have the most comprehensive programming among these and might be well placed to develop regional services in a leading role that could help the finances of the town. We're providing the Hamilton-Wenham model in the report, just as an example of a shared recreation program that's been in effect for 25 years. In their case, for recreation, the lead town is Hamilton, and Wenham contributes financially to the department's expenses. And the two towns appoint representatives to a joint recreation committee that advises the department. So you can, the next steps, just briefly, first is to improve cross-department collaboration, create a community services working group, schedule regular cross-department meetings, share user and program data, creating opportunities for joint planning, and then take a look at possibly creating the first steps to regionalizing recreation, continue to foster these shared rec opportunities that you're already doing. And you may wish to reach out to the neighboring towns of Palmer, Ware, Granby, and Ludlow to kind of discuss their needs. And we realize the report has a lot of detail and recommendation. So, but we don't have, I understand you're short on time today, but we wanted to leave some time for you to ask us questions that you may have about the report or anything that we can help you with that we can either answer tonight or we can provide you additional information after your meeting.
Okay, so we have 4 minutes before the poll hearing. So if you could stay until the poll hearing closes so we can ask additional questions, is that a possibility?
Certainly.
Okay, so we can start, right? And at 6:50 we'll move into the poll hearing. Any questions or comments? First of all, I want to thank you. This was a very well-written report, very thoughtful. Thank you. John?
I think it's eye-opening, and it's good to see from a different perspective of everything that goes on, and it shows how good our senior center, our veteran services, and our rec departments are doing a good job for the town, which is positive. There's 2 of them in there tonight, so I'll say thank you to both of you on behalf of the town.
Whitney?
My only question is there additional guidance that you all offer? So thinking about adding responsibilities to the grants position or creating formal working groups. I only have my own professional experience in these areas. Do you all provide guidance on what that would look like ideally?
We have
Provided, I believe, a draft job description if you would add these additional duties to the position of the grants. So that's already in there. We do some regionalization studies where we help people with regionalization projects. And you mentioned the working group. The working groups is more of a functional concept rather than an organizational change. And I know that in talking with the town manager, this is something that they may already be implementing, having more formalized meetings between, first of all, these 3 groups, in addition to any general departmental meetings, just to make sure that they're on board, understand what the others are doing, make sure they're not duplicating programs and services, and come up ideas for joint programming.
Okay, thank you.
Nicole? Did you have
Is
another?
that happening right now? Are there any formal department head meetings?
We do have department head meetings, yes.
Right.
As one,
As one big group.
right, but with all of the other department
The
heads?
smaller
but
focus
not-
groups hasn't started yet.
Okay, but that's going to be underway? Okay. The only question I had was more for Steve. So if I recall, when we advertised for the grants position, there was like a data component to it. What is that something that Dawn is doing right now? Any kind of data analysis?
Not yet.
Is that an addition?
When we advertised for that position, we incorporated some of the recommendations from the Collins Center into the job description.
What you did then was in anticipation of this, so
That
it's
is
not.
correct.
I was going to
Okay.
ask the same question, so it's not in addition to, this
Right.
is just implementing it.
Right. It still comes down to hours
It's the
of,
same
how many
thing.
hours of work
Hours,
week there
yeah.
are. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, we did look at that because we knew that the recommendation was coming, so we asked them for the samples.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so none of her position at the moment is focused on data analytics?
Not yet. No.
And the additional grant writer's hours that you wanted, is that to accommodate this new, well, what the description said when you wrote the description? Or how much time is going to be devoted, or are we going to be losing time from securing grants?
That I don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just,
You know, I want to point out that our grants writer's only been on the job under 6 months, and we're still trying to get into that groove before we start looking into
and I
these
agree,
other
like,
things.
all about the grants.
Yeah.
But this recommendation would then take away, I mean, she's new.
Mhm.
So it would take away from that and
Correct.
add a new component.
So we may need to look at adding more hours, or we may be able to fit it in. Some of the data collection that is anticipated would support grants, but the majority of that data still has to come from the department head. So it's, you know, those are things we need to work out.
Okay, so, yeah, well, we should probably talk about it again, just to get an understanding. But it is time for a poll hearing. And so I am going to open the meeting now for the poll hearing.
This is not a poll hearing.
Oh, it's a public
This is a
hearing.
layout of-
It's a
layout of
public
road.
hearing. Town Public Road, Pepper Ridge Road. So, Steve, want to set this up?
Yeah, we routinely, Linda has been working through the completion of several active subdivisions, and the final process is to accept the roadway as a public way. It basically takes the ownership from the private developer to the town, and then the town can start to maintain it, utilizing not only local funds, but state aid for the roadways. So this is the final step in the process. So the board previously voted their intent to lay out the public way.
Yeah.
And then the planning board has affirmed that that is appropriate. So now you lay out your, I'm not sure the exact language in the vote. You caught me off guard there, but I
Oh.
was expecting Linda to take this one. But anyways, this will,
Well, we can prove it.
your vote tonight will,
Okay,
you'll be signing the order of layout. And that order of layout will go to town meeting, and then it'll be approved to be a public way. So
Okay.
those are the steps that need to be taken.
okay.
So I'll let Linda take it from here.
Hi, Linda.
Yeah, so I submitted a letter to you all in February requesting that the board vote its intention to lay out Pepper Ridge. I provided some language for a motion. That's what I'm asking for you to do tonight is to make and accept that motion, but I'm also here if you have any questions on the process, where we're at. I can tell you that this has been on the book since 2005. I worked with the planning, with Doug, planning board, my department, and the developer to overlay Pepper Ridge. It had been paved for so long that they were actually doing a lot of crack sealing, and I did not find that to be something that the town could accept. So we worked with them. They posted escrow bond. The road is now newly laid. I've been working with them and making sure they've been mowing and maintaining the irrigation basins, and there's an area of open space. There was some management that was needed in the cul-de-sac, and they were willing to take down some invasive species. So at this point, I have asked them to do one more application on some knotweed that was, a big stand was forming on the end of one of the cul-de-sacs. But besides that, I'm content. They've really worked at trying to get this going, and I do appreciate that. So at this point, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer, or we can move ahead with the motion.
I just have one question. Was this a normal amount of time for it to get to this point? It seems like it's been going on for, what was the reasoning behind that?
Well, long before I got here,
Yep.
I think there was certainly some, the developer was not present during some years. I know the planning board actively tried to engage them. And at this point, it became, the town was holding some of the lots for development, so for whatever reason, they decided it was time, and I'm happy, and we're all happy that we've gotten to this point. But yeah, no. for a
Not
subdivision,
normal. Okay.
Not normal, that's a 20-year project that technically shouldn't take that long.
Other question?
Well, do we have measures in place so it doesn't happen again, take this long?
So the planning, excuse me, the planning board did revise their subdivision regulations, and a lot of these things were tightened up so that there'd be more progression. A lot of our older subdivisions languished for 15, 20 years. It just took forever for them to get completed. So that has now changed, that's been corrected. Yeah, and Doug is here.
I can butt in if you.
Hi, Doug.
Yeah, this project was approved by one developer, and he couldn't do it. Found out it was too expensive after the fact. He sold it. The next guy bought it and was nearly done, and then he handed it over to the current owner, who did nothing for about, I want to say, at least a dozen years, and several years never responded to calls or letters or anything else. So we threatened to rescind the subdivision approval and sent him a letter written by our lawyers, and that got a response. So in this case, you could say it was a personal issue or the recession. I don't know, but whatever it is, we finally got it done, and if Linda's happy, then we're all happy.
Well, thank you for your work on this.
I mean,
It
takes a village.
Yeah.
I can jump in real quick.
Yes.
So this is a public hearing. We'll have to see if there's anybody from the public that wants to speak to this article.
Yeah.
And
Getting there.
the board will vote to close the hearing, and then we'll take a vote on whether or not to endorse the order of layout.
Just going there.
We're missing the folks up on the screen.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Is there anybody from the public in the audience that would like to speak on this?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a resident on Springfield Road.
And your name?
Ted Groves.
Hi.
And we live just around the corner from Pepper Ridge. But our backyard goes up pretty close to the edge of the roadway. And we've lived there about almost 4 or 5 years, and we're just wondering, is there, for us, will there be anything that we'll see differently happening in the neighborhood? Is it going to change anything for us, or is it really just more in terms of the administration of the road?
Linda?
As far as maintenance, we've been maintaining the road and the basins. I can't speak to what the town was holding. Maybe Doug can talk about what the town was holding and what lots have been released. There may be houses built on lots. There should be houses built on lots.
There should, but our concern is that our backyard
Sure.
backs up to a lot that our neighbor owns and is trying to sell. And it's not your problem, but when we moved in, he said, I'm going to keep that. I'm not going to develop that. It's a big part of our backyard. So we're concerned that that's going to happen, and we'll have a house in our, where there wasn't one.
Of course.
So the acceptance of the roadway will not change the development potential of the lot.
Okay.
It's currently a developable lot, so this does not.
That won't make any difference.
No, so it's up to your neighbor.
Does that answer your question?
More or less. Yeah. I was hoping you would get shut down.
Doug, anything to add?
No, that's essentially it. And so it'll be good to get this one into town maintenance, and where it can be part of a regular maintenance program and resolve some of the problems that have happened there.
Okay, does anyone else online have something they wish to say on this matter? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to close public comment?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So I,
I was gonna make a motion to accept it.
yes,
Okay. I move that we accept, adopt, and endorse the order of layout of Pepper Ridge Road.
Second?
for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And with that, I will close this public meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I get back to the Collins Center? And thank you, everybody, for that.
Thank you.
Collins Center, are you still on?
Yes.
Okay, great. Nicole, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, the only comment I wanted to make was, so I did not realize that Granby did not have its own recreation department, and so I would be interested in us exploring or reaching out to Granby to see how we could share some services with them and collect an assessment. And, you know, we host with Granby, knowing that there's probably a need there.
Kyle can speak more to this, but we already do have some programs that we involve Granby in.
Or is football one of them, or?
Yes and no. We've more combined with Amherst, and Granby's part of that realm too. But in years past, they've had issues with basketball, so we've incorporated some kids there. And then any program that we run that's not youth sports specific is open to non-residents. But as things go forward, there is an avenue to explore that for sure.
So I'm thinking bigger picture, like an entire, like giving them complete access to
Yep.
our recreation program in exchange for an assessment.
Sure, I think there's a bigger conversation too with utilizing what they may have to benefit
That's what I was going to
both
suggest.
both
Like
communities.
it goes
But
both
that
ways.
did help a little with the basketball season for weeknights and additional gym space, for instance. So I do think there's an avenue to at least explore and put out there. Obviously, I know the Grammys in between town administrators and such, but I think that is something to bring up. And previously working for the town of Granby and the school system and stuff, I kind of have the knowledge of how they kind of run the sports, at least at the middle school and high school level. So not a lot's changed with that model, and honestly, it's run by parent volunteers for the youth sports with their GA group, which does amazing, but they don't have a lot of support to sustain similar programming like we do. So it could definitely be an avenue that we start at, you know, community one, maybe them, and see where it grows and how we can link together.
I like that.
I have a few questions and suggestions. I mean, the first one around the grants position we've reviewed. I am really concerned because she's 6 months old, that we are adding an additional piece to her work, and I wonder if the Collins Center would entertain letting her do the grant work for a year before we add another plate spinning. And I see a shaking of heads, so that's good. She's wonderful, and we just want to make sure she's focused on the grants right now. On the recommendation 2, I understand that it might not be financially feasible to add an additional middle management position, but I'm wondering aloud about an assistant, not middle management, who could help with some of this work. And this is not my area, and I will definitely say that. And so it's more, is that something to think about, even if it were 10 hours a week or something that might lessen the strain? And again, I'm not asking, I'm literally saying, please take these suggestions and then say yes, no, oh, you're crazy, whatever. But I wonder about that. I love this one around working group meetings and the condoization of departments is not unique to Belchertown. It happens in lots of organizations, and I really, really applaud you for seeing this and understanding that that's a problem, and how do we get ourselves, out of our own way. But what I know you had said that there is a model in mind for the working group, and if that's the case, then I don't know it. If it was in the report, it's not plain to me. So I wonder if you could send out actually a couple of examples of what it might look like. And then the final one on that page is certainly understand the hiring of a finance director. This is, I agree with you that we need to lessen the town manager's 16 departments oversight. What I want to see in that is that finance director is attending more finance meetings. Steve gave us a whole list of things that he was doing that the finance director could take on. I have questions about negotiations. That's a big one. And this finance director would, in fact, be able to lessen his need to oversee these functions as I understand it. But I also know that negotiations are generally run by the town manager. What all of this is coming down to is I am not confident that the finance director will in fact lessen our town manager's responsibilities. So what's going to really help me is to see Steve's time freed up significantly now that we have a finance director, so that it would give him more time to work on economic development and lead the interdepartmental cross communications. Because when it comes from the leader, then it trickles down. So that, again, in theory, I think it's a great idea. The practice is I want to see him out of these assessor meetings, finance meetings, and negotiations, unless it's absolutely necessary. And again, if you could just speak to it offline, I'd appreciate that. Around the regionalization opportunities, I'm interested in the current interest in shared services for COA. It says no current interest in shared services for COA. And what I'm interested in is more opportunities for our seniors to engage in activities that may not be housed at our
Senior center.
Excuse me?
Our senior center.
Our senior center, thank you. I had a senior moment there. So that, if there's something that they want, I'd love us to be able to look at different towns and see if there could be an exchange. It's not about regionalizing the senior center. It's about offering more programming to seniors. And then the last one is around these community services working group. I'd like to see from you what the mission, vision, purpose, and outcomes would be on those working groups. I think they're outstanding in theory. What I'd like to get is a concrete idea of what those key indicators would be. And if you have examples from other towns, fantastic. But I'm literally looking for mission, vision, purpose, outcomes. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, I understand.
Asking about that. And, that's something we can definitely get back to on offline. I know you don't have a lot of time tonight.
Okay.
But I do understand. Did you want me to speak to any of the other things you mentioned tonight, or should we just have those conversations?
What I'd love is a sort of a follow-up report based on those and other questions that were brought up, so that wisdom and be reassured in terms of the areas that we're feeling a little maybe like we don't want to overtax our grant writer, that kind of a thing. I think that's probably the most effective way of moving on to the next steps. But overall, these are great recommendations. And, I'm so glad that you made them. I just need a little more meat. Okay?
Thank you so much for letting us work with you. We've really enjoyed this project.
And enjoyed getting to know your departments and working through some of these issues. But we will follow up offline. But are glad we had the opportunity to talk to you today.
Yeah, and if you could have it in writing, so we don't play that telephone game.
Right.
That would be very helpful.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Gail Gramarossa.
That's me.
Come on up.
Hello.
You're next on The Price is Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, do I need to talk into this one? Does that help?
Yes.
That probably helps. All right. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everybody again. I'm here under my hat as the continuing chair of the Opioid Settlement Funds Advisory Committee. I hope you had a chance to take a look at, so I've got two things just to quickly update you on, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to take a vote on the application. So we have, and hope you had a chance to look at it, an application from Honest Beginnings. You remember that that's our men's sober home here in town. The opioid funds have been utilized previously for some other activities, some of which have to do with their facility and some of which have to do with the participants and the men who are enrolled in the program. Tonight is another application for one-time expenses to do some work on their facility. So as you probably read through, it has to do with the basement, which will be able to then further accommodate additional beds and closet space and other kind of amenities for the gentlemen who are in the program. The repairs that were done previously, my understanding, it had to do with plumbing and heating and whatnot. So now they've got some design to now make the basement even more functional. So I will say that the committee looked over the application at our meeting. You'll see the applications dated from February at one of our March meetings. The committee was in support of this, felt like it was a reasonable application, a reasonable way to invest some of these dollars. They did also provide the 3 bids that you had requested, and just as a reminder going forward, any project that we get that has to do with facility upgrades or equipment or anything like that, that's the committee's policy now to request the 3 bids. So they were able to comply with that. And I guess I'll stop there, see if you have any questions about it, or if you feel like you're in a position to potentially take a vote on it. I know they would like to get the work underway as soon as they can, so that they can take advantage of some of whoever they decide to go with as the contractor that they want to work with.
I appreciate the 3 bids. I'm glad you did that. I have a couple concerns. One of the bids, and I find this a conflict of interest because the president of Honest Beginning has also bid on the project.
Okay.
To me, that looks like a conflict of interest. Because if you're looking and getting 3 bids, one of the bids, you're looking at all the bids, you could be bidding lower than the rest of 3 to potentially get a project. I don't think that's a fair approach. So I don't know how to work that, so I would disagree with that bid. The second thing, I'm concerned that as a basement, speaking with the fire department and egress and smoke alarms and turning a facility that's a basement into housing without going to like the planning board, I don't think it's safe. And I don't know if we open this whole can of worms and we don't have all the right dots covered, like fire alarms, egress, escape routes. Is there enough room to get around? And then we end up with more money into this project and we don't know all the ins and outs. Electrical codes on here. So when you do electrical, you have to redo the whole circuit all the way back to the panel now with the code change. So some of that stuff's not even on this bid. So I'm concerned that we're opening this up and there's not enough money. So those, I'm going to say no to it. I just want to be upfront and not hide it from the community. I'm just concerned about it.
Appreciate that, right.
I want to support Honest Beginnings. I think it's a good program, but I just want to get more details of like, so we're not misusing, we cover all our bases and we do the project so we can do it right.
Are you suggesting as well, I guess I thought that because of both their certification as a sober home and also just being a facility here in town, that they would be working with our local fire and building inspector and all of that. Are you also thinking that they might need to look at additional outside resources to help with that?
I would,
might be done
I would like to
with
see like the
town?
fire department make sure they go in there and say, yes, you can do this in the basement.
Okay.
You can live here. These are living quarters. I'm okay with it.
Okay,
'Cause
so
I'm
more
worried
of a
about that kind
detailed
of
plan that maybe they've
This is all in like
approved.
pencil and pen.
Okay.
It's not even like.
Okay.
I don't even see an egress on here. I don't see it. I see a door to laundry. So I'm concerned about safety.
Okay, so you want a more detailed plan and then maybe with more eyeballs on and approval from both the building inspector as well as fire?
Yep.
Is that what you're thinking? Okay.
Whoever
All
the right people are. I mean, electrical inspector.
Okay.
I just want to see it done right and
Okay.
put the money where
I-
we can spend it all, like, so they're not coming back a second time or third time.
Okay.
Just have a whole project and plan and make sure it's safe for the
Okay.
residents.
I appreciate that. Related to the bids, do you recommend then that one of the bids that you're concerned about not be considered one of the three and that they get a third bid?
I would recommend, because even Nick, and I'm
Okay.
going to say it, he on here is the email bidding those other people, asking them for a bid. So it's coming from Nick. Nick's bidding. It's just a train wreck of conflict of interest.
Can I piggyback on that
Yeah,
for a second?
sorry.
So, one of the bids, one of the employees of Family Tree and Home is the sister of the owner of the other construction company. So I don't have a problem with this. I'm okay with approving this tonight, but you bring up the transparency. I can see I just went, oh yeah, look at that. These two are related to each other. So it was just kind of odd.
I appreciate that. I also recognize that the program itself also has people who are connected to each other in ways that are involved with the program. So I understand that as well. Family members who are, and folks that are connected in a variety of ways
I mean,
who
that
are
said,
implementing the program
it
as
looks
well.
like the lowest bid is coming from an unrelated contractor, if that's
Lowest does
helpful.
not mean
Yeah.
best.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
No.
Whitney?
No, I had a similar thought to John, but I also realize I'm not an expert. I see the word stair and landing here, but that doesn't mean much to me because I don't do that type of work. Have past projects like this been approved and then the fire department would come in and look at these things versus needing to wait for them to do so?
It's a good question. I hear what you're saying. I think everybody would feel more comfortable if they had a more detailed plan, and then you get feedback from the fire department about what maybe is workable about that plan or where you could make improvements, rather than go down the road, like you said, that you're starting to do some work or contractors starting to do some work without necessarily having that input from the fire department and the building inspector as well. I know in other, situations, not just like this, but in other situations in town, those are expert people that it might be best to get their input up front and have a more detailed plan before any work begins.
Right.
Rather than have to recorrect something afterward.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's needed. I just want to, I don't
Yep.
want to,
No, I
I'm
hear
afraid
ya.
that we're going to open a can of worms and it's not going to be enough money.
Yep, no, I hear you, I hear you.
Right. And for me, John made great points. We're used to seeing things come before the board once, the planning committee has signed off on it. The fire department says everything's cool. The building inspector has, because those aren't our areas of
Right.
expertise.
Right.
So we rely on those departments to give us the
Mm-hmm.
reassurance we need to make a informed decision.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, just based on that for tonight, I would have to say no.
Okay.
But not because it's not a great program and a great idea. We just want to make sure that, you know, it's safe and,
Makes sense. So what I'm hearing is that gather all of that kind of information and then come
Yes.
back. So we'll go back as a committee, let Honest Beginnings know about this, what your thoughts were, and then their responsibility is to get a more detailed plan, connect with fire, connect with building inspector, and come back with a more detailed
writing,
plan
yeah.
in writing. Yep, okay, makes sense. Again, because they are certified by the state, all of this is probably to their advantage as well, to have more detailed and.
Sure.
So I appreciate the feedback on that. Anything else that you can think, as well as looking at maybe an additional bid if you have a concern
you know,
about?
I have to
the
agree with
bid.
John on that too.
Mhm.
You know, he's one of the bidders and he, you know, that is a conflict of interest.
Okay,
And we don't want to give the appearance of, you know, favoring one over another.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, you know, I'm almost positive that you have to have a second egress out of a basement. Is this a
You do.
walkout
Yes,
basement?
you do.
I have to admit that I have not been over there in a while, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
but,
And maybe it's a
Let's-
good thing we set up a tour too. Maybe that, I don't know if that's
Yep.
something Nick would be,
okay.
I'm willing to do that
That's-
too. And
That's an idea,
I mean, honestly,
absolutely.
it's just due diligence.
Yep,
And,
oh, I agree, yeah,
and-
I hear you.
You know, just in terms of the committee, you never want to have a sense that you're playing favorites,
Mm-hmm,
even just the appearance of it.
right.
So, do we still need to vote, or can we make recommendations?
I guess I would, it sounds to me like if you, that you all
Recommendations.
decide, it's almost like you're saying, let's hold off on any
Yeah.
official vote until you have more detailed information to vote on. So that's what I'm hearing, is to come back to you all. Does that make sense? So that you just kind of table it for
Is that what we're
now?
saying?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
that's fair.
May I ask just one other recommendation?
Sure.
I don't know what the rest of the facility looks like, but if 4 additional beds are being added, is there ample bathroom access?
Okay, make sure that that's part of what's their plan as well. Okay.
And also, are you going to be adding additional personnel or?
Not that I am aware
Okay.
of, but we could certainly check. The request was not necessarily for any additional money to cover the cost of additional personnel, but we can check with the
It's more,
staff
I don't
there.
know if there's a ratio for, you know, staff and residents.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe there isn't.
There may not
But just to make sure that,
We'll certainly check with them. Like I said, we know they're certified by the Statewide Association of Sober Homes. I don't know if they have ratios or not. They may have guidelines, but we'll check as to whether or not, again, as part of their application, there wasn't any necessarily mention of boosting staff, but we'll check on that.
thank you. And thank you for presenting,
Yes,
you know.
thank you.
Oh,
and
no
for
worries.
being
And-
so
and-
kind about, you know.
Well,
your-
that's all right. It's a good reminder as well for our committee to be sure that, we're not necessarily building experts either. A lot of
Right,
us are
right.
more well-versed in the content of substance use, but it seems reasonable, to be sure. And I have to acknowledge, this is a different project than just the driveway repair, which was a little bit simpler the last time. That's what was funded as far as their facility goes. Previously, so that was not as complex and did not involve people living in the driveway. This involves making sure that the space is appropriate for
Do
people
you have
who
a
are.
deadline?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. I would like to give a deadline. Our committee just met. I can maybe poll our committee, but I know they want to get the work done.
Yeah.
It's April. They still have time, but I would like to give them a deadline to get these materials and information together without too much lag between tonight and when we come back to you all.
So Steve, she could reach out to you and get on the agenda, and, you know, we
Yeah,
look
I mean,
forward to
I'm
having you
hoping
come
that,
back.
You know, between making sure that the fire department's involved, building inspector, and some of else what you've recommended, you know, I would like to give them maybe a few weeks to do that, but not too much longer than that, because I think they want, it's in everybody's interest to get this going.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Real quick, if you remember way back when it was still winter time, I came and talked about an application to the nonprofit group RISE, R-I-Z-E, a statewide organization that was providing municipal matching funds as a grant application. We proposed and you all approved Belchertown and Ware working together with the Recovery Center that's in downtown Ware, run by the Western Mass Training Consortium. Well, the good news is, and I think we were one of few in Western Mass, that grant is actually going to be funded. So that is the grant where the town of Ware is contributing $50,000 of its opioid money. We committed to $50,000 and RISE puts in another $100,000. We just found out last month, so this is all very early in the process, but just to give you the parameters of what's coming down the pike. So the town of Ware is ironing out the contract with RISE, and then we have started meeting RISE, the town of Ware, town of Belchertown, myself as the rep, and the Recovery Center weekly. The next steps are MOUs between all of those partners together that everybody signs off on, laying out the roles of everybody. And then we will move to the process of hiring someone. Remember, this was all designed to hire someone working half their time for Belchertown, half for Ware, around housing and care navigation.
Have we located the Belchertown location?
We have not. That's
Okay.
the last committee meeting, I feel like that's one of our roles to come up with options, talking with Steve, talking with other staff in town, and generating some options as to what space this person who's ultimately to be hired will use. The ideal scenario is a free space, but remember, we also talked about if that's not feasible, we would come back and the committee would think about whether additional opioid money could support that. So that's definitely a piece of it, but I think it's, in my mind, it's up to the committee to just kind of do some initial scanning of what might work, what does that person need. Remember, they're going to be talking with program participants about their private lives, so they need some space that will provide confidentiality and privacy. So I'm thinking maybe we'll consult with you or other people in town what's available. I know space is at a premium in town, and you know, we'll think about all the options and then go from there.
Great news for Belchertown.
I know,
Good news.
we're very excited. I will say that RISE got a huge number of applications. It was very competitive, and we were grateful that it was selected. I think the fact, my understanding is there were multiple applications from all over the state that were just one town, and they were less likely to be funded. The RISE group really likes to see, as you were talking earlier about collaborating with other towns on other issues, they're really encouraging towns to collaborate around these opioid funds. So I think that helped make the application more competitive. I think
Any
that's
other
it.
questions?
I know you guys are pressed for time.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Great job,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Okay. Ed Comeau, you want to come up and let us know about the Quabbin Proclamation?
Thank you very much. As you may remember, I was here a month ago, talking about getting a resolution for the Quabbin legislation that's going through at the state level right now. The group we're working, we're calling ourselves now the Quabbin Watershed Stewards, came up with some proclamation language and asked the 12 towns in the Quabbin region to get passed either by the select boards or by the town meeting. So I gave you a draft last time, or we talked about it. I think it's in your packets, right? The new one?
Yes.
Okay. It's basically mirroring what's in the legislation, just saying, we think it's good, we support it, thumbs up, go forward. And like I said, we're hoping to collect it from all 12 towns to give a little more oomph to the legislation going through the state. So you have it. Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Are we on the radar of Boston in terms of, are they seeing this and taking it into consideration? Do they know we mean business?
I really can't answer that. I mean, we have a meeting of the stewards about once a month, and Senator Comerford, Darren Saunders, Olivera, you know, all the legislators are there in it. And they're really trying to give juice to it through their colleagues, let them know what, I mean, it's a typical thing. West of 495, we don't exist, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what they're really trying to do, is push this and put it on people's radars. I really can't talk to that. I mean, that's something that, you know, Senator Comfort's really taking the lead on this, really pushing it. And I know she's been beating the drum on it.
Yeah.
How successful? I don't know.
I
But-
think that's honest. I think, you know, you'd think they would, but.
I think by doing things like this, it helps keeps it on the radar and keeps pushing
Yeah.
it forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying an educational campaign right now, so people in Boston understand when they open their tap where that water comes from. You know, because right now, it's with most, it's like, oh, water, great. You know?
Right, no idea.
They have no idea. So, you know, we're trying an educational campaign to inform both the legislators and the people of Eastern Mass the role that we play in their lives, which is not inconsequential.
I make a motion that we approve the Quabbin Proclamation.
Second?
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
We do have another meeting of the stewards on the 27th, which you're all invited to attend and be part of it, and that's where we're going to talk about this. Get an update on how many towns have done
Is
this.
that a virtual meeting or?
Yeah, it is, yep. I can send Steve
Can you send the invite?
Yes, send us
info
an
on that,
invite.
and he'll share it with you.
Ed, do we have a date for Quabbin Days again?
Pardon?
Do we have a date for Quabbin Days?
I don't remember.
I don't either, so.
It was usually
It's the,
holiday weekend. in
it's a holiday
October.
weekend in October.
Oh, okay, so we still have a little while.
I will say that I did write an op-ed that was featured in the Boston Globe supporting these efforts. I don't know, I don't even know, what was that, a month ago or something? I mean, I don't know how many people read it, but send in op-eds,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like we can all do that.
I mean, the key is, like you did, to the eastern part of the state. It's great if the Hampshire Gazette or the Springfield Republican do it, but it's kind of preaching to the choir.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we need to get east of 495, get people aware of it all, things like that, so. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cyndi and company. Anybody else who wants to come up? Cindy's here to do the final presentation of the Housing Trust Bylaw. And I will remind everybody that I am recusing myself from this as I have worked on this.
Hi, thanks for having me back. So we are here as the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness 2.0 group. And we have the bylaw, and just to sort of go through the one, so we took your feedback from the last time I was here. We were here, sorry. And so we took that under advisement, and we worked with that, and so we added 3 additional points to our limitations so that there's definitely no question that there, you know, can't be any taxes collected as part of this. It's about preserving, rehabilitating, and supporting existing housing. It's not about creating housing, and it's for owner-occupied units, including mobile homes. So those are the 3 things that changed from the last time you've seen it, and I'm happy to take any questions or anything that you need.
I was supposed to say great job. Thank you for all your work, all of you on this. I know it wasn't easy, so, but I appreciate your work and effort in putting into it.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the housing trust bylaw as presented to us tonight in our packet.
Second?
Further discussion? Hearing none?
Aye.
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 And I abstain.
Okay. Why did we roll call that?
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Felt nice.
Because
I
it
actually felt like
sounded-
it was slow.
Because why?
It sounded really good.
Oh,
It did, didn't it?
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you so much
Thanks for your
work on
time.
this.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Doug's on there, thank you.
Doug.
Hang tight, Doug, we got more for you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
That little old thing.
Up next.
The fun never ends.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, now we'll move into discussion action items, and Steve, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Hi.
Is that okay?
Yep,
Okay.
be right with you.
Oh, I have a question. Are you here for something specific?
A variety of items, I believe.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Oh, okay, so I just didn't want to keep you waiting.
So in your packet, we have a recommendation for an appointment to the Belchertown Housing Authority. This is the tenant seat. The recommendation was made, there was actually 2 names submitted, but let me see if I can get this right. Judith Okolski made the recommendation to appoint Rosa Marchese. Did I get that right?
No points off for,
Marchese, I would say.
Marchese?
there you go.
Marchese.
Question?
Sure.
Does he meet the salary guidelines?
Yes.
Okay.
And we still have a.
Can you explain that? I don't know what that means.
This is, they have to be in the housing authority, so they would meet those guidelines.
Okay.
We still have the governor's seat open, so we're still looking for one more position. This is not EDIC, this is housing authority.
Yeah, I know. What is
Okay.
the salary guideline? I don't know.
I don't know what.
Oh, you're talking about a low income guideline?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, yeah, but this wouldn't apply.
I thought they were being paid a salary.
No, I'm, again, I'm not saying the right word. Isn't the cutoff like they can't make more than, I don't know,
Oh,
$10,000?
that I don't know, but they have to be, if they're a tenant in the housing authority, then they would meet whatever requirements to be part of the housing authority.
Just because that's,
They're a tenant, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be a tenant.
So they couldn't live in that apartment building unless they met those guidelines?
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
okay, that's
Yes.
great.
But I don't know the specifics on that.
Okay,
I don't know what the, you know, if it's
Threshold.
80% of the threat of median income, but.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want anything to interfere with it.
Uh,
It's taken years to get.
Right.
Yeah, if we can get the governor's seat filled, then we would have a full housing authority.
To make it amazing.
I'm hoping that that happens. I think, you know, in speaking with Judith, that they are looking at some potential names.
Okay, great.
So yes, that would be great. Yep. So,
Now,
so-
that seat that's open, sorry, is also somebody that has to reside. Can they just be a tenant in Belchertown, or do they have to reside in
Oh,
affordable housing?
I'm not sure if it's either. I think that the governor's seat could be anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Don't hold me to that 100%, but I believe
Right.
anybody could, that is interested, could submit a name.
And are we advertising for that in the Sentinel every week? That's one of the, okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the request of the townwide Belchertown Tenant Organization to appoint Rosa Marchese to fill a vacancy in the tenant seat on the Belchertown Housing Authority effective immediately with the term expiring June 30th, 2027.
Second?
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we also have a request from Town Clerk Terry Camerlin to appoint Michael Constant to the Board of Registers to fill the Democratic position. This term shall be from April 1st through March 31st of 2029.
So it's a 3-year term.
I make a motion that we take Town Clerk Terry Comeau's recommendation of Michael Constant to fill the role of Board of Registers for expiring March 31st, 2026.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 6C, we have a request from Ezekiel Baskin. I'm getting better at this.
Good.
To be appointed to the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority Advisory Board. This would be effective immediately through June 30th of 2027. And right now, that seat is vacant.
We have a new bus route, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure the location, but yes, there is a new bus route. I didn't work on that project. I know our police department and a few other groups did. Doug may know. He's on here.
Yeah, there's let's see, PBTA has a regular route through the UMass run, and several years ago they started an Amherst to Worcester run, and they are beginning a Ware Holyoke run. So that'll come right through Belchertown.
Another
See,
question?
if you look up there, Steve, you can't see.
Oh, yeah, what is that?
That could be our BCTV person.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. You know how to pronounce his name?
I move that we approve the request from Ezekiel Baskin to be appointed to the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority Advisory Board effective immediately with a term expiring June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is the other reason Doug stuck around. We have an invitation from our town planner, Douglas Albertson, for some select board members, hopefully no more than 2, to join the local land use planning working group. This group is going to be working on the land use plan. It's one of the components of our master plan. It deals with housing, economic base, and conservation, transportation, economic development, as well as the base, climate resiliency, and sustainability. This is a really good opportunity for a couple of board members to get involved with it, because at the same time we are working through a grant to review our zoning, our regulations, and our zoning maps. So the two will work together very well. They will fit together very nicely, because really one supports the other. The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is the consultant on the land use plan, and Fussin O'Neill, a local engineering firm that we do a lot of business with, is the consultant on the zoning review. So, how did I do, Doug?
Well, I will say, John has already volunteered, so thank you.
I'd like
to do it as well.
All right, so we
So
have 3 of us. Did you want to do that too?
No, I'd like to watch you all fight.
Well, we're not going to do that.
I would be happy to defer to Lisa if the two are Lisa and John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well,
That was nice.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you.
Oh, congratulations.
That was quick.
You're on the list.
When does the project begin?
As soon as I get your names on the list and contact our person at PVPC, it'll start right away. We'll have an initial meeting. So, yeah,
And it's
good
9
stuff.
months. 9 months.
Very quickly, who's our person at PVPC?
Laura Bandera. She's new there, but she has quite a bit of experience at other places.
That's great.
I have a good first impression.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate the opportunity.
It's good. Great, thanks.
Be fascinating.
Okay, 6E, ratify the appointment of the veterans agent. As you know, our veterans agent has moved on to better places, bigger and better places for her. So Joanne and I have, as well as a working group, we did have an interview team, conducted interviews, and tonight we would like to make a recommendation that we appoint Dustin Ruby as our veterans agent. This would become effective April 17th. Mr. Ruby comes from Chicopee. He's the assistant VSO, and he comes highly recommended by Charlie.
Any questions?
I just have one a silly question, and I'm sure when this is all done, it's all gone through your search committee, and background checks have been done, and then formal offer letters have gone through, have been signed. So by the time they get here, it's basically complete.
Yeah, so the Town Manager Act states that the town manager is the appointing authority for many positions.
Mm-hmm.
Department heads still have to go through a ratification process with the select board.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, any appointment that I make to a department head position is only, it has to be ratified by the board. So the board also has to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just a simple notification. So it's a little bit of a nuance.
I think she's just asking, all due
Yeah.
diligence has been done.
Right, and
It's
they've
not about
received
you.
an
I'm just-
offer.
I didn't know if you.
No, and they, like
Oh,
they've
yeah,
received
yes,
the offer,
yeah.
they've accepted.
Right.
We didn't just like let
Yeah.
this guy go. Guess what? You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it's at this point, this is a formality.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, well, I guess the reason I explain that is because
No, it's fine.
it
I
is
wasn't
kind of a
clear.
weird process because
Yeah.
we have to make an award,
Yeah.
or, an offer. We would hope that by then they would have explained this to their current employer.
Right.
So it's weird that we have to go through all of this even, because once we come to you, it becomes very public.
It's very public. Yeah.
So it is very, you know.
He's in a vulnerable position right now.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I wanted to explain everything to you, and, you know, that, yes,
Yeah.
all the vetting has been done,
Right.
everything is in place. We're already making arrangements for annual training for certification.
Right.
You know, all of these things are already ongoing, yet he's not officially an employee.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it puts us in a little bit of a precarious place because we
Well,
have to be
hopefully
careful,
not too
you know.
long.
But,
Yeah.
correct, yeah. The one thing I do know, whether or not I'm involved in this, is that, you know, the vetting process that Joanne goes through with creating a team for interviewing, how thorough she is,
Sure.
the questions that she answers. When it comes to me, I have little reason to deny it,
Mm.
and I would suspect that the board probably feels the same way. Joanne's done a wonderful job for us over the
Yes.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any questions?
As
Do I
the
hear a
veteran
motion?
on the board, I like make a motion that we ratify Dustin Ruby as the veteran agent for the town of Belchertown.
Second.
Further discussion?
No,
Hearing
I
none,
kinda
all in
did.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, so 6F is, again, a ratification of an appointment. This one is for Zachary Bombard. Zach, as we all know him, has been the assistant assessor for many years. I actually appointed him as interim assessor because Jay Wallahan left before we had an assessor in place.
Mm-hmm.
So he has been filling in for Jay for the last couple of weeks. He's doing a fine job. So I'm asking tonight that we also ratify that, and yes, we did all the, the offer is in place, the salary, everything is there, so we're looking forward to this, this new step in turning the page in the assessor's office.
Any
As the
questions?
liaison to the select board in the to the board of assessment,
I'm sorry,
as the
what?
liaison to the board of
Oh.
assessors from the board of selectmen, I'd like to recommend that we ratify Zachary Bombard to the director of assessments.
Second.
Second?
Mm-hmm.
Further discussion?
Yes. So I am in support of this appointment, but I just would like to remind Mr. Bombard to, in this role, please be respectful of our residents and our taxpayers in town, that this is a privilege that you're getting the appointment to this position, and to please just remember that.
Okay. Duly noted. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, our momentum is going to take a little bit of a hit here. 6G is review warrant articles. So there are two separate documents. One is the warrant for the special town meeting. That has already been approved by council. The special town meeting is typically where we handle routine business that is necessary for the current fiscal year, so in this case FY26. Any matters that come up in the FY26 closeout would be handled during the special. So we have just some simple transfers from one budget to another. This has been a topic that's come up a lot lately. The school department, they have their own authority to transfer money within their sub-budgets, if you will. We do not, so we go back to town meeting. There's nothing wrong with either process. The only reason I point that out is because it is a very routine thing that we do. So we have some budgets that'll be underfunded and others that have a little excess in them, and we just balance them out. We are also going to be moving money into the stabilization fund. We have $125,000 coming from the town and $200,000 coming from the schools. So that'll rebalance the stabilization. And that'll pay back the loan that we took for the health insurance. So that's great news that we were able to do it in 1 year, especially with the concern that everybody had about the town finances as a result of health insurance, that we could pay it back. And then the third is just any unpaid bills from FY25 that were lingering. Sometimes things come in late. By law, once the books are closed on a fiscal year, we can't pay those bills until we bring it back to town meeting and get approval. So there may be none. Some years we put this on there and then we take no action. And other years we have a couple of bills, so we'll be working through that. So if you're comfortable with that.
Well, I have a question.
Yep.
We haven't heard the update on health insurance or the memorandum of agreement. Will that have any influence, or could it have any influence on what we're going to be doing now?
No.
We hear that first.
It has no influence on it, but I'd be happy to skip over this and do those if you want.
I don't care, as long as it doesn't have a, I just want to make sure we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. So this document, if there's no further questions, you can simply vote to endorse it.
Are we getting into the weeds here on some of these articles? Because I've got questions, don't you?
No, we're talking about the special.
Oh, the special. We're not in the weeds of the regular one yet.
No, we're not there yet.
Because we're going to talk about all that, right?
Yep, that's
okay.
fine. Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with skipping.
Okay, one last thing.
And the special, we don't.
Joanne, are you here for, also for this piece of it? Or are
She's here
you
for
waiting
executive
for the
session.
health insurance update?
And executive session.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
here
you're
to
here
the bitter end.
That's right.
The bitter end.
I'm trying.
I know, I appreciate that.
All right. Okay. Without further ado, Steve, did you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
Because we're going to come back to it. Okay.
So I don't think I have a physical copy of the special. I think I just had it in my email. Sorry. It was in our email. Thank you.
Yeah, we got it like 3 times. It was like.
I was gonna say, I think I have seen it, but I haven't held it.
No, it was weird. It was.
Yeah, I know you're right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, this was the one that was sent out late?
No.
We got it like 4 times for
Yeah.
some reason.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
It was.
What was
Yeah,
sent
kept
late was
sending.
an article for the
That's
annual.
right.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. So do you want to cue it up?
I don't,
We
we don't have to set special, right?
Do it as just motion to approve it, or?
Yeah, you can do a motion to approve it, or you can do it next meeting with the annual. We have to approve the warrants.
But,
So
yeah.
you can go ahead and approve this one now if you want.
I am beyond confused. I thought so I know we're talking about special town meeting.
Yes.
Did you share where we're having it? I thought you had a recommendation on where we're having it, the town meeting.
Yeah, so there's 2 copies in your to-be-signed folder. One is for the auditorium and one is for the
Right.
gymnasium. So, yes, we haven't talked about that yet. We do need to finalize the location as well. So
Okay.
that's another action that we need to do tonight.
Okay.
But that doesn't have anything to do with this.
Well, okay. So then I make a motion.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because the location and
Yeah,
the.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
pausing
yeah.
too.
So in the
Yeah.
greetings.
So we do need to pick the location at
Okay,
the same
maybe
time.
we do
yes.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, good catch. So traditionally, we set up in the high school auditorium. The seating capacity is 600 to 650. That's usually plenty. Last year, obviously, with the override, we knew that
Right.
was going to be a problem. We had just over 1,100. I don't expect those crowds this year, so I think we just.
I'm encouraging those crowds.
It would be great, but even 650 would be, tremendous. I think we're going to get 250, 300 tops.
Well, I think it's easier for technical reasons for BCTV and such too, and the acoustics are better in the auditorium.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. If we're
Right.
discussing, I think we should stick with the
I make a
high school
motion, we
auditorium.
use the auditorium for our annual town meeting
Second.
Annual and special?
and special. Yep.
Correct. And special.
Yeah, special.
That's
Amended.
part of the second.
Second.
Further discussion?
We
Hearing
already
none?
started to discuss.
What?
so-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying, pretty much all night we've been discussing and then making motions, so I said we already started to discuss. But yeah, I agree. I think we should stick with the auditorium.
Okay, and so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the special.
Am I actually reading the greeting? Is that what you're looking for me to do?
Can you
Just-
make one big motion, like as written, or do we have to read all the articles
No, just as written, it's fine, as presented.
as presented?
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the warrant for special town meeting as presented for May 11th, 2026 in the Belchertown High School auditorium at 142 Springfield Road in Belchertown.
A second?
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the annual town meeting. Get to that page. A second here. In your packets, starting on page 42, runs through page 48. We have 43 articles this year. Last year we had 50. So at least we're below that. There was one that we omitted from the document in your packet. That is for the capital borrowing, the bonding that we discussed for additional capital items.
Is that in here as an article still listed though?
Yeah, it came in on a separate sheet. It came in, that's the one that came in late today.
Oh,
But does it link up to one of the articles already in here?
No, we have to,
So it's a
so
extra article?
it'll be the 44th, but it'll be somewhere embedded. So one thing I will say is that typically the first 8 articles are numbered 1 through 8 every year. The other articles, even though you're going to discuss them tonight, council may move them around because sometimes they try to group them, financials, zoning, those things. So what's important is not the language, but the placeholder. The language is, some of it will be developed by council before your next meeting on the 21st. At that meeting, you'll have the exact language for the warrant. And then from the warrant, we will create the motions that we bring to town meeting.
Right.
So,
So for instance, on article number 9, at a later date, you're going to provide us with the actual list of the capital items?
yes. So what we have, I know we're jumping ahead here, but there's 2 pools of money for capital. This year there's going to be 3. So within Article 8 is the budgets. So that's broken down into, I think, 13 different subsets of votes. You know, one for public safety, one for schools, one for... there's also one in there for capital, because if you recall, in the override, we designated $500,000 of designated money that runs through the budget. Article 9 is also capital, but that is the free cash portion of capital planning that we use. So we take that money that's set aside from free cash, that's voted in Article 9. That's a separate, that's outside of the normal operating budget. Article 10, again, is money that's being transferred into the stabilization fund out of free cash. So let me just back up. Number 1 is the alma maters.
Yeah.
We do that every year. Article 2 is the town report. Article 3 is the assessors, their hourly rates.
I had a question on that. I don't know if this is the time to, if we're just gonna go article by article, can we just question it as we go?
Sure. Yeah, I think we should, right.
So I noticed it's $7.25 and it's not even minimum wage. Is that just like, maybe it's a question you can answer. I'm just wondering if we just make it $17.50 for both, or is that just a set number that the state comes up with? I just don't feel it's a reasonable number to make someone work for.
That's federal minimum wage, isn't it?
Yeah, that's, municipalities don't have to comply with the state minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think
So-
it'd be fair if we're giving one
but-
to the other.
Yeah, the reason why these stay this way is because it's never utilized. It's always just been a marker. But we can certainly bump that up to, so it's.
I mean, even if we
same.
do have to use it, at least it's fair for somebody if they want to take it out. I'm just
Totally
looking.
agree, but does that affect our budget?
No, because they don't spend it, I don't believe. I can check with Andrea.
I mean, it's
Alright.
very low amount for,
No,
it's like $4.
I mean, $7.25, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let me just make a note here so I don't forget.
Sorry, I just didn't want to get jumped too far ahead.
I agree.
So this is if they were to do regular work within those departments, which they never do?
Correct. Or, the Board of Health used to go out and witness perk testing,
Okay.
those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
Right.
Does that pay for gas and things like that?
I think these were established before we had,
Okay.
full-time employees. But I'll check with Andrea. I
Okay.
don't think it's a problem. But we can bump it up just so it's equal to the assessors.
Do we even need them anymore?
Yeah, because there may be times where, they're called upon.
That's a good question.
So I think that's why it's there. But I can also ask that question.
Okay. Anything else on Article 3? Article 4?
This is the Board of Assessors Legal. This is just a routine article. Article 5 is the same. It's the Reserve Fund for the Finance Committee. That's where we dip into for emergency spending if there's a furnace that blows up or one of those types of situations. Article 6, so that we can receive state aid for our road maintenance. Article 7 is to appropriate money from the cemetery sales account to the lot development account. Article 8, again, is the budgets. Article 9 is money being moved for capital. Yes, we will have that list. The third item, when I said before that there's going to be 3 questions on capital, one is in the budget, one is outside of the budget, it's free cash. And the third is we want to present a list of projects for borrowing because we're going to be losing debt this year.
Right.
And if we don't replace it, it's going to be a negative mark on our bond ratings.
How much are you looking to borrow?
Between 2 and 3 million. We're still working on those numbers. There's a
Now-
lot of,
Sorry, that was going to keep us at the same loan payment about as we are right now, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more, but not much.
yeah, we're
right?
looking at, we're going to try to be at that level or above. It's a lot of small projects right now, but projects that are needed, like the boiler in this building that's been giving us trouble, some of the HVAC at the schools. So the Capital Improvement Planning Committee will be meeting on the 14th to finalize the list for borrowing. And then I'll have it ready for the Select Board on the 21st to go with
And they're making
stuff.
a recommendation on the level of borrowing as well?
No, that's coming from the town accountant and I.
Okay, and.
That's a financial planning thing, the Capital Improvement Planning Committee works outside of financial restraints. So the Finance Committee.
That's right,
Yeah,
okay.
Finance Committee, town accountant, and myself will work together on that.
School me on this. how do we come up with 2 to 3 million? Is that, is that a normal amount, or?
Well,
is
it's
it
about
more,
equal
less,
to
or
what we're
more?
paying
Yeah.
right now on the current loans.
Okay,
Maybe a little bit more, which,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, we're not worried about, another 25, 50,000. If we need that, we'll find it next year. So next year, we would like to go for another bond. And, at that time, we should have answers from MSBA on the roof and windows and doors for Jabersbrook Middle School. Those two projects alone are gonna be 2 to 4 million.
Yeah.
So that's why, we want to bring this pool of projects in now, and it's going to include schools and town, and then next year we'll focus on another group of projects.
But we're
because
not overextending ourselves in terms of borrowing.
Correct.
That's really the question.
That's the
yeah,
question.
so just to make it clear, because I know Melina is listening and any residents that are listening to this, all we're doing is we're just renewing our old payment into a new new borrowing. So the town is not coming to the residents looking for more money. It's the same money that we've been paying all along into old loans that are now expiring.
Correct, so there's no debt exclusion
Okay.
required.
Right.
This is
Yep.
existing town funds. If you recall, in 2021, the DLS, recommended that we increase our borrowing because the money that is set aside to pay back bonds, once it's converted to operating expenses, it's almost impossible to convert it back over.
Sure.
So that's why we want to make sure we maintain this, and then next year try to move some money out of operating into borrowing, so.
Yeah, the message I want to go out to the residents is we're not overcommitting
Right.
ourselves.
Right, so, we're trying to do all of this within existing parameters. And that's, really, we didn't talk much about Article 8 because we've talked about the budgets a lot. But there's been a lot of questions about, new positions, purchasing of capital items, borrowing. I've been hearing these questions every day from people on the street. And the bottom line is, it's all within our existing budgets. We're not asking for an override, we're not asking for debt exclusion. We are being very careful how we redistribute our spending to cover these various things. So that is very important to point out. You're absolutely right. And with this capital borrowing, it's the same thing. It is not new taxation. We're not going back to taxpayers, putting our hands in their pockets.
Right.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks.
So we do have the capital for free cash. I also sent you, it was a late addition. It was in the original draft. It appeared that it was a duplication, so we deleted it out and then realized it was for the borrowing.
Oh.
So when we vote on these articles, we need to make sure we remember that there's this one additional article for capital borrowing.
And which article will that be?
It'll
Otherwise-
probably end up in the teens.
Okay.
But right now it's unnumbered. But we can call it 40, just for conversation
44.
tonight, we could call it 44.
44, okay.
It'll be renumbered. But. Article 10 is, again, the stabilization fund. That's money in addition to the 325 that we're putting back. Article 11, Article 12, Article 13, Article 14, and Article 15 are all changes to the personnel bylaw. We do these every year. That's your cost of living, any clarifications to position grades, vacation schedules, all of those things are embedded within the personnel bylaw. And unlike a collective bargaining agreement with a union, the non-union employees are governed under a town bylaw, and any changes to their working, their compensation package or their working parameters has to go through town meeting. So even if we add a vacation, a holiday, it has to eventually, brought to town meeting.
In Article 14, there's a new bold statement in there. This personnel leave, I guess that's what we're changing, subject to probational period and will be available for use after employee has passed probational period. So that means they can't use their personal days, right? So if there's like a death, for example, they wouldn't be able to use it for that in the
Well,
family?
they'd get bereavement.
Okay, they would get
Yeah.
bereavement. I just wanted to make sure they could
And-
cover something with
yeah.
the employee, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we would work
I
something
figured you'd
out.
work with them, I just wanted to clarify.
What I will say is Article 11, Article 12, and Article 13, they're not fully developed yet. So you'll have those on the 21st when you do your final vote.
But this is in addition to vacation. They are, all employees, all permanent employees are eligible for 3 additional paid days of personal leave during the fiscal year,
Yeah, that's.
for any reason.
That's already in the books.
Yep.
Yep. So what this is, so Article 14, which Article 14 and 15 are fully developed. Article 14 is the personnel leave,
Gotcha.
that they're not eligible during the first 6 months.
Oh, it makes sense. I was just,
Article 15 is to,
no, it makes sense. I was just wanted to
Okay,
clarify,
yeah.
that's all.
Yep. Article 15 is to add longevity after 25 years. Currently, it only runs out to 20 years, and many of the CBAs that we have in place have a 25-year
Sure.
place marker, so we just want to be consistent with those. Where was I?
16?
And we're
16.
doing this longevity, should we add 30 years or no? I know there's some people close. If we're gonna do this, we might as well just add it in now and just
Well, I don't think any of the CBAs have 30 years yet, so I would say let's
just hold off.
let's
Okay.
hold it. But secondly, any recommendation that comes from me is self-serving, because I'm
I know you're getting up there.
April 3rd, so that was Friday.
Thursday.
But we have a couple other people that are
Yeah.
30 years
April 3rd, I had
on the police
33
department and
years.
stuff,
Oh
so.
my God.
33 years?
Yes,
Wow.
What do you get for 33 years?
I get to visit with the select board every other month.
He gets us.
So I don't want to, I would not make a recommendation on that. As a matter of fact, Article 15 with the 25 years, that's, that's exclusively up to you. I'm just telling you the facts. Article 16 is the money that pays for BCTV that comes in through our charter agreement. Article 17 is to allow the BCC to utilize any grants that come in. Article 18 is to put money out of free cash into our other post-employee benefits. That's our retirees. Covers, insurance and those things. So I'll stop there. Is there any questions up to 18 so far?
Does the Cultural Council also fundraise?
Yes, they do some fundraising, but I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Would you find out and
Sure.
report to the board?
Who's our liaison?
It's me, and I'm pausing deeply because they've actually asked me about creating like Venmo accounts or something. I don't think they are doing any fundraising.
They haven't yet? I thought they did.
They did for swag at one point. They had like some T-shirts they were selling, but they haven't done that in a
We
while.
don't have to spend time on it. I just, I've gotten conflicting,
Yeah.
answers on that, and we should know. And,
Yeah, I don't
And also,
think they are.
what's their charter?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, we can look into that.
Okay.
I did know that they were looking into the Venmo and a few other things, so I thought they were fundraising, but
Yeah,
maybe they're not
I think
yet.
it gets complicated because it has to be an individual person's account. They have to transfer funds over, and then you can have you can be taxed on income.
Well, again, this could, I'm just
Yeah.
putting that out there.
Okay.
Good
but
question.
We don't have to do
Yeah.
this now, yeah.
Okay, so Article 19 is to establish a revolving fund for use by the Board of Health, and this would be funded through any fines that are issued. So if they issue fines for not complying with tobacco regulations, sales, it would go into a revolving fund instead of the general fund, so that they could use it for educational materials and outreach.
Would that hurt our budget though, like in a sense, or would they, I'm just trying to think.
I don't think they issue very many fines, so.
Is this the same amount that
This is new,
this is new?
yeah.
So the same money that they're gonna collect in violation fines, if any, will fund the education of the violators.
Right.
Oh.
So if they issued $5,000 worth of fines,
Right.
then it would go into this revolving fund. They can't exceed 10,000, that's all.
Is it mandatory? See, that's the thing.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not mandatory, and it's up to you if you,
You want to partake in the education.
it wouldn't necessarily be to go educate the retailer. It might be to fund education in our schools about,
Oh, I
risk-
thought it was to go.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
It very well could be. It could be used for that as well, but it could cover.
It
a
says
lot of
tobacco retailer trainings.
I guess there's some clarification
different-
questions.
Tobacco control signage, again, those are
Yep, that too,
educational
yep.
things. Yeah, yeah,
But it's to encourage that training.
yeah.
Where did this request come from?
From Andrea,
From whom?
Andrea Crete.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep.
Do any other towns do this already?
I don't know.
Can we find that out?
Yep.
While we're asking you 1,000 questions about this topic, is this related to the generational tobacco ban? I also realized we haven't gotten an update. Whatever
That was mine.
happened with that?
Actually, Ken, I think Ken was going to come in with an update on
Yeah,
that.
I'm curious. It just was so quiet afterward.
Maybe when you're talking to Andrea, we could set up, not for now,
Yeah, in the
but an
future.
update on.
Well, do you want questions answered on this before you put it to
Yes,
town meeting?
yeah, I'm just saying, what Whitney brought up is a great point. We were going to get an update.
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Tobacco-free.
I have a question. When there's fines right now, where does the money go? Into the operating budget?
It goes into the, I'm not aware of any fines, but any fines would go into the general income.
Is that the
And-
operating budget?
It would have to be reappropriated at the next town
Okay,
meeting.
so that does impact our budget.
It would.
It
That's what
does.
I mean.
Yeah, so, yeah,
I
I'm
would be
kind of changing
concerned.
my tune on this.
I mean,
I
would
don't
have
want
to see the
anything
data.
impacting our
Yeah,
budget.
I'd have to see the data.
I don't
guess.
think they've been issuing,
Okay.
significant numbers of
But-
fines.
But,
Yeah.
but we have it on the books now, and, it's.
Well, we don't have it on the
we have
book.
to
No, I
vote for
mean,
it.
this is.
This is our chance.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. like-
Yeah, I need more information on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find out
I do
what
as
the
well.
dollar value of fines has been, but I don't think it's,
Yeah.
I think it's negligible.
But I mean, I have seen planning board minutes of late, not planning, I'm sorry. Board of Health meeting minutes of late where there were some recent
Fines.
something going on with some of the liquor stores. So are those just not fines or?
They're not significant. It's,
Okay.
we have a,
I mean, the more I think about this, like we're only circling just tobacco. What about alcohol? What
Yeah,
about
right.
board? Like we're only honing in on one. I don't think that's fair to the retailer, if that makes sense to the townspeople, that we're only going to issue a fine for tobacco. And not
Well, they-
alcohol violations or food violations.
yeah, they have all kinds of violations that they
So,
would issue. This
I don't
this
agree with-
revolving account is only to,
Yeah, I don't agree with
Positive.
that.
Yeah.
That it's only one. It's not equitable across everything. They're just picking and choosing what part they want to keep and what part they want to give away.
oh, I
I'm
see what you're
wondering-
saying.
They're only focusing on one area. That's how I'm
Yes.
looking at it, and I don't like that.
Can we pick this, I mean, can you get the information on this, and we can revisit this one and not
Yeah.
vote on this tonight?
Well, we'll have the answers for you on the 21st, and we either take it off or we leave it on.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
We're not voting on this tonight anyway, right?
No, these are just discussion,
This is
right?
discussion.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the
I thought we were
most
just
part.
discussing
Yeah.
tonight.
I mean,
And then
if
thinking
you
about
tell
it.
me you absolutely don't want something on the
Sorry.
warrant, then I would say no.
Sorry,
Okay.
you're right.
Yep.
But what would be great is just to get the, the logic from, from the board and from Andrea so that, we know what's in their heads, what they're trying to accomplish. And then, picking on just tobacco is,
I mean, there's marijuana that we can, if we're gonna do it, we might as well
Go all out.
Go all out and do it correctly. That's just my
well, it's
view.
fair.
I guess that kind of lends itself back to, how much of an impact on our income is this
Yeah.
going to be?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
we lump everything in, then, there's potential we are going to lose a little bit of money in fines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
So I think we just need to get more information and think it through.
Okay.
Again, I think it's something we can, I'll talk to Andrea and we can see if maybe she'll be here on the 21st to explain this article. a little
Are
bit.
these the kinds of things that should be coming to us before
Absolutely.
review night?
I would have done this one.
Yeah, I guess, it'd be a little bit of a change in procedure, because typically we ask for any warrant articles, and then we give a deadline, and then we put them all into one document, send them to the board.
Yeah, I feel like we're just rushing through this, and these people don't have time to defend or give us a better clarification of what's going on or why
I
it's
agree.
here.
I mean, MVP came to us,
Yeah.
right? And we worked it out
Yeah.
so that we could get it onto the warrant.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
feel like that this is something that
Maybe something
Should have
new to
been.
think about. For
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just something, I guess, yeah, you know, that's, we can, next time I have a department heads meeting, I can certainly tell people if you have something that's more than routine, then we should probably.
You know, just so that we know
Board.
exactly what we're voting
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna have parking lot that. 21?
Yeah, 20 is another revolving
Oh, 20.
fund. So this one similarly, it's a revolving fund. I guess there's a typo because it shouldn't say Board of Health on the end of it. Almost
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
from Board of Health. I don't know why that's in there.
That's
just a typo.
literally
probably a
what I
copy
thought it was.
paste. Yeah.
The same
Um,
one.
So this is to set up a revolving fund for the Department of Public Works, and this is for the receipts from the EV charging stations that are now up and running. So this will cover operations and maintenance, it'll cover the software, annual subscriptions, any support, cover the electricity. It was intended to be self-sufficient,
Yeah.
so that's why this is on here.
It was always the intent for this to become a revolving fund, if I recall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Article 21. This was a recommendation from the town accountant. She wants to establish, there's no funding this year, I'm going to say that right off the bat, but she wants to establish a capital stabilization fund. So I support this recommendation, but this would be is for us to be able to set money aside to fund larger capital projects. So it'd be a savings account, like a Christmas account, if you will, so that we can put money aside every year. If we have extra free cash that didn't go to capital, we could put it aside and use it for the following year.
Well, isn't that what we do with the 500,000 every year?
That's override money.
Oh, okay.
But I don't understand, how, like, do we have a percentage that we would be doing?
Not
I mean,
yet.
what is,
Not yet. Right now, it would be just to establish the authority to put money into a separate account to use for capital, if we want to bank money.
So how would the funds be, I guess I would have to know how the funds, would have to go to town meeting to move the funds over?
So if we wanted to, if we knew we had a project coming up and we wanted to put some money aside to cover it.
Like
we
10,000 or
Yeah,
50,000?
we could put money aside annually to establish an enterprise stabilization fund for capital. It would also be available if we had an immediate need, rather than dipping into our regular stabilization fund. We would be able to say, let's use this to purchase this piece of equipment. So that's why that's on there.
I kind of get what's going on. So it's like a budget account. So let's say, I'm just going to use this for
Yeah.
example. So it's like, if we start planning for, we know the high school needs a roof in 10 or 20 years from now. It's going to cost us $2 million. We put 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Then by the time the 20-year mark comes, we have that money in the account to buy that roof, and we're not borrowing against it. We're already pre-planning for all our capital.
I would be open
makes
to that
sense.
if there's a way that the money in that account could be growing.
Well, they're all interest bearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want more structure around it, like, what are the numbers? What do we,
There are no numbers.
We don't know yet.
We just need the authority to set this up.
You have to start somewhere, and you can always get rid. It's not saying we're putting money into it, but if we start planning these big capital projects, we're planning for that roof over 20 years. So you're starting to set aside money you can put the roof.
But there's no structure on it, just a name. I don't have any structure. I'm not saying it's a
Yeah.
bad idea. I just, most of, I think all of our financial tools have, like, here's what it is, this is what we're gonna do. This one just has a name. And
Who's going to determine the amount that goes into it I'm assuming once a year we're going to put money into it?
It'd be the select board that decides how much money goes into it every year.
I feel like it's a good idea. It just doesn't feel like there's any, what's the word I want to use this?
Sounds like you want a you want to know what the you want a policy
I
on what
want
the
a policy.
percentage is going to be
Yes,
or the dollar
because,
amount.
you know, so that we understand what what she has in mind, and there's parameters about it. You know, when I'm thinking about how people might vote at town meeting, they look at it and say, well, what is that, you know? So I just think some parameters around it.
Well, I think the board needs to set the parameters, but we need to have the account to set the parameters. We
I want-
operated with a stabilization fund for 50 years without parameters. It was 3 years ago we set parameters and said,
And I'm looking for parameters
Yes.
around this, and I'm looking
Yep.
for a recommendation from the accountant on what the parameters.
I
might
do
be.
agree that we should have this account in place.
Yes,
And then let's set
I
the
agree.
policy on, I think this is a really good idea.
We're not putting
Let's
money
set the
in.
policy on what the amount should be so that we can adhere to that for FY '28.
Now, is this
I-
like a standard savings account that I have, that if I don't have a minimum balance in there, I'm actually going to be charged money?
no, because it's a town fund.
Okay.
So stabilization funds require a simple majority to put money in. It's 2/3 vote to get money out. So what this is, it takes it out of the normal stabilization account. Because anytime we try to dip into the stabilization account, people get worried about that. So we can't put money aside for capital. We can, but if we put money aside for capital
It's harder to access.
in our stabilization fund, people forget that that's why we put it there.
Right.
This way it's separate, and if we have a project, or if we know of a project, we can put money aside. And that, it's hard to say we're gonna put so much in every year, because we don't know how much money we have available every year. Next year, when we talk about the free cash policy, and we say this much is going into stabilization, this much is going into OPEB, this much is going into capital, that's when the board would say, and we want 10% of it to go into.
Or 1 or 2%.
Is this going to be a fixed amount that comes out before the split?
No, it'd be free, well, right now it's free cash. is
So
what
it'd be
we're voting.
before the split.
How do we decide
Whoa,
when
whoa,
we're
whoa.
gonna use
It'd be
it?
the free cash
be a
amount, so
different
you would
topic.
divide up the free cash first, is what I'm hearing. And then whatever's left in free cash then gets
Oh,
split.
this is
between
part of
everybody.
free cash, not part of the regular operating budget?
Well, if you wanted to put operating funds.
You could
in
do
it,
either
you
one.
could too, but right now the focus is another line item in the free cash.
So a good example of this account, I'm thinking future is, you know how we sold the building, was $100,000 we got? We could take that $100,000, not even put it in, do the 70-30 split, put it into a capital fund to build capital. to have-
The
So
first
this
thing
is
made- Okay,
a perfect example of where that money, in my eyes, would
Yes.
be for the sale of these buildings, so we can have it, and it doesn't get used for something else besides capital.
okay.
But if you put it into stabilization, we couldn't, we would have to then take it all, or if you put it into free cash and you did the 70-30 split, you're not getting the whole 100,000 back to the town. Does that?
Do we have the ability to place, because can we place it into an account that's not as liquid, that's more interest bearing than just a regular, wherever we put our money in right now that gains interest, something a little more aggressive?
That's a question for our treasurer, how that actually works. I can try to find that out for you, how much
Yeah.
interest these things really are.
Right.
Yeah.
What rules would we use for, okay, this is when we're going to use this? Who decides that?
So I would say it would start with the capital improvement planning committee,
Okay,
and then it would have to go through the select board. And because it's in a stabilization fund, it has to go back to town meeting, and there needs to be a 2/3 vote to take it out.
okay.
So, there's been a lot of focus on capital. We know that The last 2 years, we've had over $900,000 going into capital. We're gonna be borrowing. There may be a year where we say, you know, we don't have enough projects, so what do we do with that money? You know, if that happens, now we have a place to put it.
It's a great idea. It took me a little bit to get there.
Yeah, I know, I get that, yeah, yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but
I think we
I
should
think
leave it.
Yeah.
Let's leave it, but let's also get it on the agenda to set a policy for the amount and get information on how we can aggressively, on how we can invest it to get more interest. Not aggressively, that's not a good word.
So
but
what
more
I would
interest.
like to do is engage the capital planning committee and the finance committee to develop the policy
Yeah.
for the select board.
I think that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah. But, you know, once we have the authority to establish the account, then it makes sense to spend the time putting those parameters together. But the very simple explanation is to John's point. We just sold the building. We also, you know, received $100,000 through a lease. If we don't have a place to deposit that money, maybe we end up spending it in the end, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if we don't have a place to deposit it, how do we set it aside? You know,
Well, that's smart, very smart.
and I know people forget all too quickly if we put money into stabilization, the general stabilization, why it was there. So at least we have an avenue to put it. So.
No, that's great.
So, yeah, I'm glad
You
we-
have a chance to,
Yeah.
do you have,
No, I spoke a little bit.
yes, you did.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Great questions. I think is this.
That was a good discussion.
All right, Article 22 was a request from the town clerk. This is a new chapter in the town bylaw, and it will govern how committees perform, specifically with things like keeping reports and minutes where they're to be filed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, that's Article 22.
Article 22 and Chapter 40 boards, commissions, and committees, that's all one,
Yep.
right?
Yes, yep. Yeah, we got to look at the formatting there because it throws you off a little bit.
Yeah.
Where did all of this language come from?
Terry Camerlin.
But where did it come? She drafted it herself?
She may have pulled it from another community, I don't know.
Did we have legal review it?
Legal will be reviewing the entire warrant, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
They already did, or they will?
They will be, yeah.
So this is saying, like, if there's a board or a committee member or someone on that board who's not from the town of Belchertown, a resident, they would have to be removed or moved to a different, right? That's kind of how I read it, like a natural person. You
Well, it says they're considered resigned.
Yeah. So it ensures that there's only town residents, right, that are on our committees?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's
if
one
you-
piece of this.
Yeah,
That's one of the pieces. Because,
the definitions clarify, you know, the appointed board, the appointing authority to board, the elected board, or resident. But 40-115, 115, that's where the real meat of this is,
That's where the what?
the real meat.
Yeah, I actually had questions about that. I understand, Terry, number A, every board, including, they'll select a chair, clerk, or secretary, and such other officers, if any. So the two questions I had is, doesn't say anything about revolving or, term limits on, I mean, she's been very definitive throughout.
Doesn't it vary by, like, some are staggered, some are...
It might be,
Well,
I'm
this
raising
isn't,
the issue because in some committees like ours, we change every year. In
Yeah.
other committees, you have the same officers for,
Oh,
years.
you're talking about the particular designations.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
I see.
So, and then also, like that's term limits, like how
Yeah.
long can you be chair? How long can you be, so it's just raising the question.
I think the way she wrote this, you could still have the same 3 officers continue indefinitely,
In
but every year
perpetuity?
they would have to be reconfirmed. That would be the difference. Where right now, we have people who are in the chair seat, and they just run, does the board actually revoke that person as a chair every year, is what she's getting.
And I feel like all the committees are very different in what they want and what they like.
Yeah, I don't think she was trying to set term limits for,
Right.
The boards. What she's saying is, you should vote on it every year.
Here's the thing. How do you bring in innovation and new ideas if you're rearranging the deck chairs every year? And this is an open-ended question. This is, there are lots of people in Belchertown who I think would very much like to serve in leadership capacities that perhaps aren't given the opportunity because it's always been X or Y. And maybe that's fine, but I do think there's something to be said about looking at leadership and encouraging, maybe that's the word, or I don't know what other towns do, but I do feel like sometimes you can get stuck in inertia because it tends to be the same folks. I'm not saying that's happening here in all the committees. I'm not saying anything like that. I just want to look at it.
Yeah, I think by requiring an annual vote, it would open up that discussion. So if somebody's been the chair for 6 years and they've never voted every year, he or she just hasn't relinquished the seat. Now they have to vote on it, so somebody else could say, hey, I'd like a chance. They discuss it, somebody makes a motion. But I can also tell you, I've been to a lot of committees where we're twisting arms to get people to take the leadership seats. Nobody wants to step up to be the chair or the vice chair or the clerk. So there's a little bit of that, I think, coming from both directions. There may be people who want to serve but haven't been able to because there's no vote. And other people, other times we just can't seem to find people to step up. Not to mention the vacancies on committees, which we still need to talk about. So, I think the way I read this, it's not restrictive to say somebody can't serve as a chair more than 1 year at a time.
No, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
1 year. I'm not saying it's 5 years. I'm just saying it's interesting that when she's very specific.
Yeah.
And on that point,
Yeah, and I like,
there's nothing.
Well, I think there is. I think by
Well,
forcing.
now we have a vote.
Forcing that vote opens up the dialogue. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Open up the dialogue, let somebody else decide if they want to be the chair.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think that's what's happening.
All right.
I think she's establishing a formal process.
Yeah.
That the committees now have to follow, that they're not following. Some are, but I'm just, this way it forces everyone to follow a standard practice, and it makes that dialogue like you're looking for happen,
Yeah.
I think.
I see
think we're
that.
doing baby steps.
I see that
And
now.
we're not,
I
and I think we can get onto your point next and add that
She's got
maybe.
some committees that aren't submitting their minutes timely. I think this is just starting to put
Minutes.
a structure in order for the committees to follow.
Annual report, reminding
Yeah,
everybody about
thank you
open
for the
meeting law.
report, yep.
But I think, I would be careful about setting a term limit for.
No, I think
Yeah.
both you and John and others have convinced me. It's a baby step in the right direction, and
I do agree with you, though. I do agree what you're saying with because some people are chair for 8 years, and it's a problem, and it doesn't give you new.
new blood.
Yep. No, I agree with that. I think there should be a vote every year, and if somebody's willing to step up, give an opportunity. So, let's see, Article 23 is some revised animal control regulations.
I do have a problem with D. We are a right to farm community, and by limiting birds, and this could be roosters, chickens, I mean, they should really, before they bring this up, they should have went to Agricultural Commission, and they should have talked about some of this stuff about the birds. I understand what they're doing because a lot of people are keeping chickens at home, but roosters make noise. We're a right to farm community.
That's right.
So I feel this is going to be a problem for our residents, and I would not vote to have this on here.
I agree.
And I think it should go to the Agriculture Commission for review before it even comes further.
I mean, we already have rules in place about how much space there has to be between houses. I can remember a rooster situation
Yep.
a year ago, and, you know, so we do have some, you know, rules in place.
Yeah, I mean, we are a right to farm community, but not every property is right to farm.
You have to have over a certain acre.
Right.
But if you do, so let's say my chickens, for example, or my neighbor's chickens have a rooster, I can't control my rooster crows. So this is saying if your bird crows too much, that's how I read it, they can issue a ticket or fine. That's not a right to farm. A bird, that's,
But doesn't our animal control officer is aware of the
but if neighbors complain
right to
about it.
farm?
Yeah.
But this is taking
rules.
that
And we
away.
already have, not to repeat it, but I'm going to, we already have, like, I don't know what it is, maybe it's an acre.
Yeah.
You
I think
know,
it's over
If it's
an
under
acre,
an
yeah.
acre, then,
Yeah.
you know, you have that in place, you know.
I'm sorry your
Yeah.
neighbor got chickens, like that's
Yeah.
the right to farm.
Yeah.
They're livestock, they make animals.
I guess I'd want to more understand where they're getting at with this, like what they're trying to accomplish, taking into consideration that we are a right to farm community. I think we're missing something here because I know that she knows that.
Is there any other issues with this one? Because I don't know if there's going to be enough time for her to get clarification on D, but we could just revert back to the existing language and then work on the rest of the bylaw? Or do you want her to come in and try to explain the whole thing before we?
I mean, I am concerned about some of the dog stuff, like what's
am
assessed, like this, I mean, your version, my version of excessive dog barking, my dog barks, like my neighbor's gonna call and they're gonna get mad and complain, then we're gonna end up in a noise battle situation, and we're gonna be out there with Board of Health monitoring the barking level. What's
What's
I
the
think we're
line?
just, what's,
Yeah, but that's why we have an animal control advisory board. That's where they appeal to, and your own taxpayers and residents make that decision for you.
It's this language, to bark excessively, a dog that causes a disturbance that interferes with the person's reasonable right to peace or privacy by barking. That's a judgment call.
yeah, it's judgment. It's all on who complains louder. I don't agree. I think we're setting our residents up for not success here.
But even when I was on animal control, nuisance, we heard nuisance dog complaints. Like, I don't understand. Everything ends up with the animal control advisory board if it can't get settled right with the animal control officer. So this is not, to me, this is not anything overly new from what we're used to hearing.
What I'd be interested in is a definition, rather than a judgment call, of what we, and I know, I mean, if it's a source of annoyance to a sick person, I don't know, to me, there needs to be, this meets the threshold, here's the criteria. It just,
Or even limiting it hours, maybe from like 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
something, there's just.
But, I mean, we have a noise ordinance in town, but I'm just, I don't know. I'm
So
just,
maybe she comes in and talks about both of those.
Okay. I can, is there anything else? Because I will reach out to Anna.
No, the other ones seem.
You know, again, we have to have the final
Yeah.
draft by the 21st, so.
Yeah.
We haven't asked for too much.
Oh, no, you're
Yeah.
perfectly
We're good.
reasonable. Well, yes.
I do like the dog waste thing. That's about time that we force people to pick up their dog waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since Dan is in the room, can we ask Dan? Do you have anything on this nuisance dog edition?
I've not
Any
seen
thoughts?
No.
So it has not been in front of the Animal Control Advisory Board?
Okay.
Okay.
But I do like the removal of dog waste.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's
Can we
one
find them for that? Is there a way
I
to,
thought there already was some.
I just want to make sure. I mean, that would be, because I see people all the time using town common
that would
driving by.
be, yeah, you
And
know,
it's,
They don't pick up.
that's a good one for a fine.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that, you know, I spend a lot of time walking my dog just around this building, and there's a lot of people that also walk their dogs around this building and don't pick up. I have not been to Foley Field
Oh,
this
gosh.
year,
Oh,
but I've
it's,
heard the sensory
it's
trail
bad.
is so bad
It is.
Yep.
that,
Yep.
you know, there's probably some concern.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And that's something that we should probably have our Board of Health and Conservation departments look at.
I
Because
mean,
it is
it's
that
great
bad.
language, but it doesn't have a repercussion.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it just needs like, you will be issued a fine or something, fine.
If we want a fine schedule added to this, can we request Anna to do that?
I don't see why
First
not.
offense, second offense.
Yeah.
I think town meeting would be really thankful for that.
Yeah,
I'll let
I
Anna
would
know.
be.
okay. Anything else on that, or can we move on?
We can move on.
I did bring up Article 24 a while ago, and I think we should remove it at this time.
Agreed.
Could you repeat that again?
Article
Sorry.
24, I don't think we're ready for this decision yet. There's still some more discussion that needs to happen. I think we should just remove it and not even include it in the,
I agree.
Yeah, so we did run into problems because the election schedule, the third Saturday of May was too close to the election. So realistically, you know, the end of May is a holiday. So we're really looking at sometime in June if we want to go to a Saturday. So I do think there's a bigger discussion to be had, but not in time for this,
Okay.
So we'll take that one off.
for this year, yeah.
do we need a motion for that or
But
no?
let's
Nope.
keep talking about it.
Yep, agreed. Article 25, I believe, is probably not going to be on the warrant. This was the 10 acres of town land that the EDIC requested to have added to parcel D to be part of the industrial drive, industrial park project that they're working on, which is like across from Tractor Supply in that area. They don't have their survey plan drafted yet, and it still needs to go in front of the planning board to be approved, and then it needs to be recorded.
This makes me so
So-
mad.
So are we removing
mad.
number 25?
Not, I'm gonna say leave it on for now in case there's something
A
happens.
miracle.
But I don't know how it, they may
They
be
have a
able to
lot.
get their plan to the
Okay.
planning board, but I don't know how we're gonna get it ready for,
Okay. I mean, they were in the same exact spot 4 months ago,
yeah.
5 months
Yeah,
ago,
they're-
6 months
you know,
ago.
I've been listening.
30
to-
years ago.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
listening to them.
Okay.
It's not.
We've been
This
talking
is-
about transferring this 10 acres for 2 years.
Wow.
I mean, I would
don't
like
know
to.
why the A&R plan is still not in print and endorsed by the planning board, but we are already going to be bending over backwards to get this warrant done.
But to be
Yeah.
clear, ball is in EDIC's court, not planning board's
Mass
court.
Development and EDIC, yes.
Okay,
Planning board just simply needs to endorse it.
yep.
But you want
Okay.
us to put a hold on it.
Yeah, we'll leave it on there for now, but I would suspect that it probably won't
Okay.
be on after
All right.
this week.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think this is a select board topic that we need to bring up with an EDIC in the room and discuss about reorging
100%.
the whole EDIC board. Honestly, that's
Reorganizing it?
reorganizing it. That's my personal opinion, and I would like that as a select board agenda item.
Second.
Third. I agree. Do you
I'll
have any,
make a note.
do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I was going to wait till the end, but my other thought too is we're just over halfway through our article discussion. I think we need to start talking about if there needs to be a mid-year annual town meeting
That's
to
another
get
good
through a few
topic.
articles.
Yep.
It's just getting so long.
Yeah, well, we had the special and we knocked out like 10 articles. That one was more for the health insurance. So the timing was a little off. It was in October.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have a special like in the January timeframe
Yeah,
to
yeah,
handle
yeah.
a bunch of this
I
stuff.
agree with Whitney, though, and
So,
I don't
yeah.
know, January's too late,
don't know.
but
Yeah.
I do think we need to,
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
that-
second annual, it'd be another special.
It'd be a special, yeah.
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 But we would just have that
But
place
do we
in
need to
mind.
put that on the
Probably
The
not.
Yeah, as an article,
No, we can, the
Just make
the
it
select board can call a
practice.
special town meeting whenever they want.
but we can't, kind of memorialize that we're gonna have one in the fall and one in the
Oh.
spring, so that people know.
Yeah,
And
I guess we could figure out a way to do
that's
that.
what I'm wondering.
I think that would help with some of the confusion on these articles too, because, part of this is they submit them,
Yeah.
because they know that that's their one chance during the year.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if the board could say, why don't we wait on this
Yep.
until
Yeah.
the special? And then you have a chance to.
Or the regular.
Yeah.
Right,
Because there are a lot of grant deadlines
Mhm.
that, if we,
agreed.
so,
If the department heads knew there was more than one opportunity,
yeah,
they would be more willing to come in and, if you had to put something on hold,
yeah.
at least they would know that it's,
Yeah, they can breathe a little.
right.
So
So-
Can
I,
we add that as an upcoming discussion item?
oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we can we have that as an upcoming discussion item?
pick a date
I
now.
personally would like to see
We should
that.
pick a date now, like next discussion, pick a date, and this way everyone knows what's going on.
Yes.
Then they can resubmit some of these articles for that new date.
And
they can
it
have time
goes
to
in
work on-
line with what you want to talk about with planning a year ahead
Yep.
for these big things.
Yep.
And I really do think it
Thank you,
should
Whitney.
not be a special, it should be something that people can count on,
Yeah.
so.
And that may be something good, we talk with Terry and.
All right,
can
so,
recommend
so
it.
Article 25, we will revisit on
Yep.
the 21st.
Article 26, if you recall, Jen's not here tonight, but in the open space and rec plan, we identified 191 properties owned by the town.
Mm-hmm.
We did go through them, Doug Albertson, Kyle, Linda, myself, Conservation.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of them, there's properties that are developed that the town owns. There's large open space parcels that the town owns, and then there's a lot of clusters, smaller pieces that the town, may have pieced together to make a larger parcel. I talked to Doug Albertson about, whether or not those could be combined into one larger parcel, but it's a process and it's really unnecessary, it doesn't mean anything. So when we looked at them, we eliminated, developed property, we eliminated the big open space properties, we eliminated the ones that were clusters and formed a large tract of open space. And what we had left for saleable property was about a dozen parcels. Most of them have little to no value. But I want to get them off the books anyways.
Less than an acre or more?
Most of them are less.
Wow.
Can they be made into residential, or are they too small?
Most of them are just junk property, so
Okay.
we can surplus them and, we may end up just giving them to abutters. I don't know.
Can you
They
forward
probably-
the list to us?
Yeah, so there's about 10 or 12 that I want to have surplus.
And if we give them to abutters, then their taxes are raised because they've taken on the land.
Yeah, I mean, the little slivers of land don't have a big value. But
I
that's,
just want to say there's a
yeah.
price attached.
Yeah.
they may not accept them.
Yeah.
We can't force the property,
Yeah.
but we would have to try to sell them first. I don't know, but the first step would be to declare them surplus.
Okay. Yeah,
But there was,
that's
out of
a
the,
good
Yeah,
idea.
I want to see, definitely
wanna
want to
see
see
that
that
too.
list.
yeah. So there wasn't a lot out of 191 properties that was actually useless land. So unless we want to start selling off our open space, which I don't think we want to do because the next two articles are talking about open space.
Yeah.
Maybe not the next two, but they're upcoming. So that's where we are with it. The next article, Article 27, is to accept Pepper Ridge subdivision as a town way. We already talked about that tonight. Article 28 is to set up the housing trust. We already talked about that tonight.
There's a spelling error in 27, Pepper Raj.
Oh, yeah, and it's right underneath Pepper Ridge.
Yep.
Very
Article 29 and Article 30. These are both for land purchases. One is the Boyce property off of Old Bay Road, and the other is the Walker Mahal property off of Kimball Street. These open space conservation area lands, the town traditionally is the buyer. We have to borrow for that, and then we're reimbursed through state grants.
Okay.
I asked Doug about this because I knew it would be a question. He said There's 2 conservation purchases. Both will be paid through a combination of grants and assistance from the Kestrel Land Trust. Last week I did meet with Doug in the Kestrel Land Trust, so I know that that is in the works. The town pays to acquire them and then is reimbursed by the grants. So that's why we need the authorization to borrow and spend the money.
The town pays for them.
We pay for them and then we're reimbursed, yeah.
With what money?
So a combination of grants and assistance from the Kestrel Land Trust.
Sorry, I know you
Yep.
said this, just repeat it for me.
And one of the properties, the Boyce property, is also going to include some CPC funds
Okay.
and a potential land grant for massed forest reserves or an earmark. We also have an opportunity for some.
Because
earmarks.
what's worrying me in these articles is the word borrow, because I don't want to see us, as Lisa said the perfect term earlier, overextended, even if it's a temporary borrowing.
Yeah, it's
I
less-
don't want to see it affect us when we need to go out to borrow for capital.
It won't because it's usually months. Yep.
Months.
Yeah.
This is
They're
good because this
interested-
stops development. Like,
No, oh no, I agree with
all
it,
this
trust
stuff.
me, I agree with it. I just don't like the word
Yeah.
borrow, because I want to make sure we're not going to borrow anything. We know we're going to get paid back by Kestrel, but
Why do we do it that way? I mean, we give it to them and then they
Yeah.
give it
That's
back
how
to
it
us.
works.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
That's
a
how it's
normal-
always worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and is it going to become one of those things like with the Gingras property where it's going to be years before it eventually transfers?
No, so what we're waiting for on the Gingras property is the conservation restriction.
Yes,
The language for
yes,
that. But
okay.
The property's already set aside, it's conserved, you know.
Okay.
It's owned by the town. So that's why they reimburse us, because they put a conservation restriction on it.
Okay, so the term borrow is just in here because it's just part of the general language, but we have no intent to borrow this money.
Oh, they may have to borrow to pay for it, yes, but then we'll be reimbursed and we'll pay back the bond.
Okay, so you're not concerned at any point that we will be overextended in our borrowing, and it could impact us borrowing on things that we really need, like capital?
No, I'm not concerned.
Right.
No. I've seen this
Normal
process,
How quick does a reimbursement occur?
that I
gonna
would
be
have to
my
talk to Doug
question.
about.
Sorry.
Yeah, Doug's not on there. I'll have to ask Doug how long it usually takes.
Yeah, that would be good to know.
Yeah.
So in the 33 years that I've been here, I've witnessed this process happen many times, and there's never been an issue.
I'm
Until
sure
there
not.
is.
But it's, for me anyway, that's news.
It's brand new, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, 700,000.
yeah.
I mean, worst case, we have to sell it and we triple our money because we bought it so cheap. We could triple the money and sell it off as a development. So we'd make a killing of money. So it's like a
Yeah.
huge investment if you think of it the positive way.
I
That's
guess.
a way of thinking about it. All right. Any other questions on that, or can we move to the next one?
31?
Yeah, so Article 31 is, again, an authorization to borrow $70,000 to help offset the cost of a park grant that the Recreation Department's going for. I don't have a lot of details on that. I can have Kyle come in, but I know in order to get the grant, we need to have this in place.
I spoke with Kyle on this. It's like matching grants. We have to set aside 70 and make sure the town's putting up a certain amount. Then he can apply for the other portion. This is to develop that,
It's
the
earnest
basketball court.
Where's
in
the
front
money
of-
coming from, though?
The park grant.
You
The
just said it was a
70,000
matching grant.
It's more than matching or whatever.
Okay,
We have
so
to put
what's
up
Belchertown putting in?
$70,000.
It's earnest money to show that
We are supporting the
Right,
project.
but where's it coming from?
Our budget, our borrowing.
Is that true? We're going to borrow for this?
Mhm.
So where's the article in here that's about the borrowing and the list of what we're borrowing for?
This is a separate article for the borrowing for this project.
Okay.
Makes sense. Like I'm just telling you where it is, I guess. And that's like the new
Well, I get
basketball
it.
courts.
Yeah,
and-
no, I
But
get
if you
all
don't
that.
put money up front, they're not going to even consider you for this grant. So if
No.
we don't get the money, we're just going to return the money back.
Right.
So we won't.
Yeah, no, I know what in earnest means. I get that. I just was not aware that we were going to borrow for that.
Only if we get the park grant.
Right.
We gotta get
Right.
that first.
Yep.
Not that this has anything to do with basketball, but the pickleball courts, that's also going to be, they're going to be redone up at the school.
Yeah, they're gonna resurface one and then the other.
And-
Yep, one of them's, the surfacing's peeling, so they put
Yeah.
down some temporary matting for now.
Okay,
Those are the ones you're talking about?
yes.
And I shouldn't, let me correct, it's not just basketball courts that'll be there. There'll be like a hockey rink for the winter time. There'll be useful
Well,
space
these,
for
pickleball
different.
courts too, though.
I know he's looking at the pickleball courts
Okay.
too.
That's just,
Yeah.
some of my folks are,
I think
Complaining
he's
about that.
trying to help every,
yeah.
there's more than just pickleball. There's baseball,
What? There's more
softball,
than just
basketball,
pickleball?
hockey. So we don't even have, we used to flood the common for hockey and ice
Yeah.
skating. There's nothing to do that anymore. So he's thinking that area would be a good hockey ring to help for the winter sports stuff.
If it gets cold enough.
Yeah.
Are you the liaison to rec department?
I'm not
Who's the liaison?
Jen, but I fill in sometimes. So I just talk to him.
Okay.
Okay, Article 32 is, over the last couple of town meetings, we're continually trying to clean up the code of Belchertown, so it aligns with the Town Manager Act on the appointing authority. This is just one more of those. And then Article 33 through
Oh, what does
40
this give you the authority to do?
It doesn't give me any additional authority. It's correcting the language in the bylaw to match the Town Manager Act.
For what?
Right,
For
for
what?
what?
For what?
Um,
Special.
Over the
Okay, over the Board of Appeals?
Board of Appeals, yes,
For special permits.
correct. And then 33 through 43 are CPA articles.
I'd like to talk about article number 43. Because there's no purchase and sale, I would want to make the recommendation that we put this one on hold.
I second.
I'm in full support of it.
Of putting it on hold
No, of,
without a purchase and sale?
yes.
Isn't this when the CPC says that they're making the recommendation, and so then they're asking us to give them the authority to spend the money? So wouldn't we want to take that to town meeting?
Yes.
And then the town has the right
I
to
don't think we have
to
a
say
control
no.
over
I'm
anyways.
just not, I'm not comfortable giving $400,000 to an entity where there's no purchase and sale in place.
Right.
I would just recommend we hold off, but if we want to take it to town meeting, that's fine, but I would probably, I don't think it's a good idea. Because I just want to make sure that the town understands there's no PNS in place prior to this. Like, I want to make sure they're educated on that.
At the same time, that the Community Preservation Committee, that they can get money for apartments. You know, there isn't a purchase and sale yet.
Right,
But
so
it's
aren't we
tying
a
up our
little
money.
premature
Yeah.
in directing that money when we don't have a purchase and sale? We don't even know the state of that whole relationship with NHP and Comeau.
Steve, do you have anything to add on that?
I mean, that is concerning that there's still ongoing negotiations. Whether or not they'll be completed in time for town meeting is a big question in my head. But I think I would also need to find out if the CPA committee has the authority to put these on the town meeting warrant, or if the select board can take them off. So I need to confirm that.
Yeah.
So depending on how, if you want to hold until the
The
21st,
21st.
and then I can have an answer on whether or not that, we have to push it ahead based on CPC rec, because the CPC program is a very specific
Right.
part of Mass General law.
Exactly.
Right.
So let me find out what authority the select board has over, whether or not, because, I think you alluded to that a little bit, John, whether or not there was any authority,
Okay.
so. I guess
Go ahead.
the concern very well could be that this goes to town meeting and people have the same questions that we do, and it just turns into a very long debate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it would be cleaner if they knew they had a project that was ready to go. That's
Well,
my
I
concern.
think you'll get more answers on that.
Yes. Between
by
now
the
and then.
21st.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so we did remove number 24. A couple of them are on the bubble, depending on the answers that we get. So we're off and running. We'll have a final document for the 21st.
I just gotta stretch, guys.
And we talked about 44, right?
Yep, that's what this
Yep.
one is.
Yep.
Could you just make what's the revolving fund? We no longer have to go on here? Is that something new or is that just an old? Can you
No,
just remind,
so-
is that like sewer enterprise or is that something
No.
totally different?
No, enterprise budget stuff
Okay.
on here. So if you remember way back in the articles, we talked about setting up a revolving fund for tobacco
Yeah.
fines.
Yes.
Okay. The reason those are going to town meetings because they're new funds.
Okay.
We have many revolving accounts
Gotcha.
already
Okay.
established for like recreation programs. If we, you know, there's an upper limit on what can be spent annually. So like in the articles in this warrant, it's $10,000. You don't have to come back to town meeting to re-establish those revolving accounts annually unless you change the number, you know, the upper limit for spending. Years ago, they renewed the revolving accounts annually. And council said you don't have to do that unless you change the amount.
Oh, interesting.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, what's left?
The MOA.
Yes. So the board,
You look tired.
I'm starting to feel it, so, yeah.
yeah, so we are there.
Are we done now with the articles?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, yay.
6H is the MOU between the select board and the various labor unions. This is in response to the changes that the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust made to our plans.
Mm-hmm.
If you recall, I had the board adopt Mass General Law, Chapter 32, Sections 21 through 23, which allowed us to go into negotiations if needed with those unions. We met with the unions. They didn't feel negotiations were necessary. They agreed with our approach. We are obligated under Mass General Law to share 25% of the savings, anticipated savings from the plan changes with the unions.
Okay.
We didn't try to contest that. We said, you know, we're going to share the 25% with you. How do you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
We had a lengthy conversation about that. They all agreed. They went back to their respective bargaining units, obtained their approvals, and have signed the MOU. So we just need the select board to sign off. And essentially what the unions are agreeing to is what we would call a premium reduction. It's a one-time reduction in what the employees pay through their weekly contributions to make up the 25%.
Well, if I'm a single and I'm on the HMO, the premium reduction amount is $37.50. Is that that's
One time.
$37.50 that's not going to come out of just one paycheck?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's not a lot.
No, you know, it wasn't a huge amount for the amount of participants. I think for a family plan through PPO, it's a little bit more, but, and that's why I don't think there was a lot of discussion, because it was a small amount of money. And I was happy to return it to them. You know, I think we've asked a lot of our employees over the last year with health insurance, so sharing the savings with them, 25%, and again, it's only 1 year
Yeah.
that we have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the signature authorized town representative, should our chair sign that?
Yep. That would be fine.
Do we have to make a motion or do we have to just sign it?
You should move, yeah.
I move that we endorse the memorandum of agreement regarding the health insurance changes and mitigation fund distribution.
Second?
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 6I, and I'll be very quick with this one. Joanne's still here. We did get some good news from the trust this past week. Where are my notes? let's see, March, the trust received $220,000 in stop-loss reimbursements and $2.2 million in CVS rebates. So the rebate was $400,000 more than budgeted. And we do not have the claims data yet for March, but at least we had some positive news that the money is coming in. April 1st was also the deadline for communities to withdraw from the trust. We had 8 additional communities.
Who were they? I know Southwick was one.
Yeah, we had Southwick, we had Springfield Water and Sewer, Greenfield, Franklin Community Tech, Dudley, Chesterfield, Charlton.
South Hadley in the mix?
No, South Hadley and East Hampton stayed.
Which was the community that had Scott Zabak? Southampton left. Okay.
Yep. So they went to the GIC a while back. I had a conversation today with one of the town council members from Palmer. They were hit with a 35% increase this year, going into FY27.
And where are they with?
They have a private carrier. I don't remember the name of the insurance company. So.
Well, I mean, that's some good news anyways on our, us.
Yeah.
I'm still holding my breath on all of this.
It seems like, 1 month to the other, we get good news, we get bad news, we get good news, we get bad news. We need to see that stabilize, and we need to see the reserves grow before any of us are going to stop holding our breath.
No, that
Thank
extra
goodness, not
rebate
just
money is
me.
going to go right into the reserves, right?
Well, I guess any unspent balance will go into the reserve.
I mean, I guess it sits at the bottom line until the claims run out at the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
But any monies left over, if there are any, go into reserves? Is that how that works?
So, yeah, we're all,
I mean, Joanne, how do you feel? I mean, you're in the executive committee. How are you feeling?
I have a lot of faith in HILB. I think that they
Okay.
definitely know what they're doing. We're not the only joint purchasing group that they manage. They've built in a buffer to help build up those reserves in our renewal. I have faith in them.
And I know you do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
all righty, town manager's report. I'll be very quick.
Yes.
Warrants, negotiations with public works, police officers, and firefighters. That's the subject of our executive session tonight. I've been meeting with members of the communications committee regarding AI. Capital planning committee has been very active. And we are meeting again next week to finalize the borrowing list. We already have the list of capital projects for the budget and free cash, so that's already set. I'll have that available for you on the 21st. I did meet with the consultants that are doing the marketing study for Belchertown.
Oh.
Yep, so that project is still ongoing.
Can you tell me about that real quick?
That's the grant-funded project. I'm having a loss on who we hired to do that, but regardless, they're working on a marketing plan for the town. It kind of goes hand in hand with wayfinding and all those different things.
So who is they?
I don't remember the name of the consultant.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
But
But anyhow, they've been interviewing business owners,
the
consultants,
group.
yes. So
And what's the goal?
to develop a marketing plan with outreach materials.
Well, I know, I heard
For
that. but
like
the-
prospective businesses to come into
yeah, but
town
what's
or
what's the goal?
residents?
Well, address the needs of our existing businesses, to market for additional businesses to come to Belchertown.
Okay.
Yes,
And the study will be presented to us?
yes.
Okay.
So the nice thing about that is, hopefully we'll have that available for when we hire an economic development planner. All right. So I know I was vague on that, but
I know it's
Kept
late.
pulling
and
it out.
But it's just
Exactly.
like when you say it's a marketing,
yeah.
it's like there's a gazillion marketing plans
Yeah.
out there, so.
I think, weren't you interviewed as part of that?
Excuse me?
Didn't you get an interview as part of that?
I did. That was
Okay.
that was
I never heard of this.
Can I say
I didn't
this
know
was
about
a
this.
while back, though?
It was a
Yeah,
while
it was.
back. All right. We interviewed for the Veterans Agent, tri-board meeting. We finally had one of those. John brought up a very good plan. He thinks that, sometime after town meeting, we should sit down and get our tri-board meeting
Yep.
schedule established for next budget season.
A year in advance.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
The FY27 budgets were finalized. Thank you. I know it wasn't a smooth process, but we made it. I met with our grants manager. She's completed some pretty big projects lately, and we were just wondering what to start moving into next. We did have the meetings with the health insurance, the unions regarding health insurance. Joanne and I are going to be establishing employee meetings to start talking about the employees, about what to expect, with the changes. I did have a meeting with Mass Development regarding the status of the Carriage Grove development.
Is there anything we need to know about that?
The appraisals the field work for the appraisals have been complete, so we're just waiting for the final appraisal reports. I don't know when that's going to be. There was, I think, 14 properties, or 14 parcels that they appraised. I did attend the fire department open house for the living quarters. I had a cup of coffee with the Amherst Town manager. I've bumped into him at different events, but this is the first time that we really got to sit down and just chat for an hour. Very, very interesting conversations. We share a lot of the same headaches. I did meet with the Kestrel Trust, as I mentioned earlier. We did have an ADA self-evaluation update meeting. I can tell you that the process is moving as it should, and we should be getting a report on that sometime over the next couple of months. We had a flag raising ceremony for the Child Abuse Awareness Month. I know some of you were away, but I did attend. I did read the proclamation on behalf of the select board, and people were very happy that we had the event. It was a cold, drizzly day, but but certainly the focus was on the meaning of the event, and it was very well attended. For those of you who don't know, the Center for Children's Advocacy has an office here in Belchertown now, and they sponsored the event.
Oh, yes.
So, it was good to see them and to give their support.
Where are they located?
Down by the Domino's.
And there's confidentiality that it's a place where people can leave and enter without.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
So, and then I did meet with one of the developers of the Mishi Moon Path subdivision, which is off of Aldridge Road. It runs between Aldridge Road and Jason's Way.
What made you meet with him?
Last week.
No, what made you meet with him? Was there a topic?
Just, there was some questions about whether or not any appeals were filed. We talked a little bit about the benefits of the project, staying off the bridge on Aldridge Road, some of the schematics that go with it. More or less just this kind of a, hey, we're here. We want to be good neighbors with the town.
Is that project moving along, or there's been?
Yeah, they're permitted.
Okay.
They're fully permitted through the planning board, and the appeal period ended last week.
Okay.
The 21-day appeal period was over, so they are now free to start. Yeah. So that's all I have.
That's excellent, Steve. Thank you. Review of weekly mail.
I just had one thing that I just wanted to read, I think like the first couple lines of. It's a letter from Governor Healy to Chief John Ingram of our fire department. Dear Chief Ingram, congratulations. I'm pleased to inform you that the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security and the Department of Fire Services has awarded the Town of Belchertown Fire Department $19,000 of funding for the firefighter safety equipment grant program in state fiscal year 2026. With each new challenge, the fire service in Massachusetts demonstrates its ability to adapt, overcome, and continue providing the excellent level of services that the citizens of the Commonwealth have come to accept, and the rest is just formality. But I just wanted to call that out.
Excellent, thank you. Any other?
I do one more. There's an outgoing message, and this
I'm
comes,
sorry.
one more message. There's an outgoing message for a member resigned from the EDIC.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why some of this triggering, that we probably need to talk to the board to kind of figure out a reorg of why this is going on.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring that up.
I couldn't really understand.
Oh, there's a outgoing letter to a member who resigned from the EDIC board.
Yes.
So this is what's triggering me to get the board in here to discuss and maybe possible reorg.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree that.
So it was in the mail,
possible
so.
reorg,
Can I ask a question about that, Steve? Do you have any applications of interest yet for EDIC?
I did receive an email
Okay.
from one individual. We haven't even the advertisement's going out this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
you already have one?
We already have one. And then I also know that the EDIC has a special advisor position that they appointed a while back, and they were wondering if that individual would take a seat as well. So we have at least, from my knowledge, we have at least 2 names already.
Does the special advisor have to put in an application saying?
Yeah, they would have to submit a letter of interest just like anybody else.
So there's technically 2 seats open because we still haven't filled the low-income seat, correct?
Well, we
So-
need help with that one.
Yeah,
with,
yeah. We reached out to the Mass Office of Business Development. They were going to reach out to the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Community, I think that's the right organization, to get a name of somebody that could fill the seat of the low-income classification. I have not heard back. I recently talked to one of our legislators about that issue. That seat has been vacant for nearly a decade. And the problem is, due to confidentiality, it's hard to get names through these state organizations. So I suggested that legislation be filed that would put a definition of the low-income seat that the towns can work with on their own.
Yeah.
You know, 60% or 80% of the average median income of the
Right.
community.
Makes more sense.
And then we can just solicit, you know, people to,
Well, as it is right now, it's what, $10,000 or less?
that's, nobody seems to
That
know
came
that for
from
sure.
one individual on the EDIC, and I don't.
All I
think
know
that-
is that this is a problem, and if Aaron is helping us with that, solving that, so we can actually, after 10 years, get somebody on there. It's an important voice that's missing.
Yeah, the problem with legislation is, it takes an act of legislation to get it.
Yes.
It could be a year before we,
Yeah, I
you know,
know.
see that
But
relief, it could be longer.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to be 20 years, so we need to just start.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens there.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
So, given that we are going to go into executive session, and it's already 9:30, I ask that when we get to individual board member reports, if we can really be expedient, John.
I'll be quick.
All right, so we'll start with John.
Perfect.
Okay.
18th March, I went to Capital Improvement Planning Committee. 23, I was online. The 23 March, I went to the select board meeting, so they coincide kind of a couple of weeks later that we were all at. 25 March, I went to the 250th planning, so they're going to combine their 250th planning with the town's fireworks. So they're going to do some, and we have a 2-hour window before the fireworks, so they're going to bring in some maybe storytelling, something maybe on the mini Fenway baseball field, some kind of entertainment for the kids.
Who is they?
The-
Is this a special committee?
It's
or-
just town residents that are kind of got together to form something to kind of get something going. Some people from the Historical Society, Communication Committee,
Oh, good.
So Lori Fortunato's on it, Tom Stockton, Sally Shattuck, Allegra. There's a couple other people. So
Okay.
very involved people that want to get something going.
Keep us apprised
Yeah.
of that.
The big thing that came out of that I want to bring up is it came up as an idea, and especially because we don't do this very often, is we should send formal letters to invite the governor, our U.S. senators, U.S. Representative Neal, U.S. State Representative Aaron and
We need
Jake.
to do it now.
We should do it now
Yeah.
and get them on the calendar. I talked to State Rep Aaron Saunders. He said we have to do a formal letter, so if we can send it from the town, and he would then reach out to the governor's office too on our half to try to get her down here, or the lieutenant governor, because their schedules fill up. But this is a big event for Belchertown. We don't do this very often, and it's off-season compared to all the other events. So we have a good chance of getting the governor out here, or U.S. Senator Warren out here, or Markey out here, somebody that, someone to show Belchertown.
Could I make a suggestion, even though I'm not on the committee?
Yeah, you can join. Anybody can join. It's not.
Well,
But we have to do this letter as the board, so I'm just recommending
Yes.
that we, as a board, send it and
okay.
mail it officially, whatever channels that is.
Get a form letter and we can vote on it. But the Historical Society puts on so many amazing programs, and I'm wondering if there could be like a special speaker that they would know about.
So they are trying to get that. It's just some of
They're
it's
so good.
so they're trying it. I mean, we're working with limited funding, so they're just working to see who's available. There's more. We have 9 months to plan this versus
Yeah.
everyone who's coming July 4th for a lot of events. Don't have a short period of time. We're not doing our event till September 24th, so we have a lot of time, and most people are available for that.
I'm just
Yep.
enthusiastic, and I love what they do.
So we're trying to get things, and we just want to make it special for Belchertown, unique for Belchertown.
All right, I'm breaking my own rule. Keep going.
It's all good. 30 March, I spoke to the fire department and police chief in person. I just want to, we had a lot of us know in this town, there's been some horrific thing that happened in town. So I wanted to make sure our police officers and our firefighters were taken care of. In a traumatic event like that, if you've never been through one, the support is needed for that. So if we need to get resources, specialists out here, a therapy session going, I wanted to make sure they had that resources. I mean, I went through some of that stuff being on the fire department, so I understand, or being in the military, so I understood what some of these police officers had to deal, or firefighters had to deal with. So it's cosmic that we think about that in this time of situation like that. I just want to make sure, and I know I spoke to Steve about this, and we did, I know you offered your support, and I just want to say this to the select board, we offered our support too, so. We care for them. If they need us, we're here for them. If they need some resources, and we have the emergency fund, we can get them the help they need, if they need any help. I mean, the earlier you get help, intervention, the better it is for anybody. I don't want to go too on a tangent, but a lot of people are like, police officers are tough, firefighters are tough, but
They're people,
but
too.
people, it might not affect you now in life, but it might
Yeah.
affect you later in life. So it's important that we take care of those employees and we get them the help they need. I attended the fire station living quarters in person, and I met with the rec department to discuss about the fields ready for spring, the fireworks planning, and winter sports finish up. And then the taxation committee canceled because we didn't have a quorum, so that's where we're at. Sorry.
Thank you, John.
Wednesday, March 25th, attended the Council on Aging meeting. Tomorrow, I'm, for anybody that wants to come, I'm meeting with the fire chief at 9 a.m. at the firehouse for a tour of the living quarters. I was
nice.
not able to attend.
We're not going to go.
You're going to go? Okay, good. Whitney, if you want to come, you are more than welcome, 9 a.m.
I can't,
I'm
but I
sure
wouldn't be
you
able
have.
to anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
Maybe you can take some pictures for me.
Whitney?
Will you take some pictures for me? Your
Sure.
living quarter tour? Thank you very much. No, I don't think I have anything relevant to mention. Everything is already passed. You all talked about the Creative Economy Summit, tri-board meeting, school committee meetings. That's that.
Okay. I also attended a tri-board meeting. I met with Dawn, our grant writer, several times. The good news is that the Resiliency Hub / Community Center funding grant went in the day of the deadline, which is like a huge achievement. And the ask was over $1.5 million, so we'll see how.
What
fingers
was the
crossed.
maximum we could get again? 3?
We could get 3, but that doesn't mean this is the end. It
Yeah,
means
it's
what it
1%.
basically does is it brings us, if we get the money, it brings us through to shovel ready.
Okay.
So they like things in phases. That's where we are, so. We'll see what happens. Also met with the MVP core team, and I also drafted a letter of support for the first responders. This is, a tail end of what you're talking about. That is from the select board, and I've talked to Steve about this already, because I do feel like as a board, we should send something to them. But because this is going to the DA's office right now, Steve has asked me to postpone. I'd like to send it out to all of you, and then when Steve says we can do so, that we send our letter as well. Okay with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think at this point, we could send letters to the 2 departments.
Oh, we can now?
Yeah, but I think any press releases would have to.
I don't want a press release.
Yeah.
I just want a letter.
But letters of support, yeah.
Yeah,
at this
and,
point, yes, yeah.
and to have it go on the town website.
Mhm.
So I will forward it to you, Steve,
Mhm.
and if you could just let me know if it's okay, or, what changes you want to make, and, but I'd really like to send it out sooner rather than later. Okay. There's no media, but Melina is still on. Do you have anything, questions from the press, Melina? Melina?
You fall asleep like us.
Okay. So we are now going to move into executive session.
Moment. I move that we enter into executive session, not to return to open session, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21, Subsection 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair or so declares.
A second?
All in favor? Roll call?
Aye.
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 And meeting ends at 9:32.
All right, let me close it down.